lost, no one knows. We're going headed into the unknown. Na, 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 na.
Hi, everybody. Happy Wednesday to everybody. I'm sorry I was not able to come live yesterday. My life is just chaos with the holidays and the kids and everything that they have to do. I'm just like, I shouldn't make a schedule. I should make no promises. So the intent on Monday's live was to go over the David Erskin interview. And then of course we had some answers from the Supreme Court. So we did that instead. So now here we are Wednesday, and we're going to go over the interview that came out last week. And it wasn't really an interview, just a phone conversation. I don't know how call it an interview, call it what you want to guess. But hello to everybody. Hi, Hoosier Heather. True Crime Fangirl. Ooh, Malicious Intent. Hi, Love. Hi, Sleuth Investigate. Hi, The Lodger. What's up, Nancy? Hi, Teresa. Marshall Dove. I'm Bonnie Bailey. And Journey Takes a Trip. Hi, Thought Chick. What's up, Terry? Hi, Judy. Okay, so I saw this right before the intro ended, and I was like, well, thanks, Poor Pitbulls. I mean, I appreciate that. I at least, like, on the scale of where I rank, I'm above Miami Vice. I'll take it. I'll take it. Hi, Grace. Hi, K-Brace. Starlight Ann. Hey, Bianca. Hey, Lambert. Hey, Shaz. JC Marty. What's up, Donnie? Missing Unsolved Crime. Hi, ATS. This one's for you, ATS. V-Math. Hi. Hi, Aaron. Hey, sweet dude. Tiny Humans got you down. Be responsible, Teresa. Offer them ice cream and movies. I made a bologna sandwich because that kid's like addicted to bologna. So that's what I did. Hi, Dom. I hope you're feeling well. Hi, Tony. Hi, Kelt. Hey, Sandy. I think I'm too far up. Let me go back down. Let me go all the way down to the bottom. Peppermint Tea. Hey, Love to Care. Hey, Rhonda. Good to see you. Hey, George. Cray Cray. What's up, Unsolved Crimes Uncovered? Hi, Thistle. Hey, Laura. Jen P. Hi, USA Libertarian. What's up, Joni? Janie Lane. All right. Hi, everybody. You sent my cup? Finally. Jeez. I was beginning to wonder if you were just going to try to keep my cup. No, I'm just kidding. Bologna sandwiches are bomb. Well, he would agree with you. I'm not the biggest fan, but, you know, he's 7. So it is what it is. Hi, Lindsay, here for this topic and the breakdown. Okay, so I took like extensive notes. So let's hopefully I remember them because it was a couple days ago. I mean, I wrote them down, but you know what I mean. But first and foremost, I want to go over the old screenshots so that everybody kind of is familiar with what we're talking about, why we're talking about it, and if it's important or why it's important. And that's kind of up for interpretation. So David Erskin, let me just kind of fill everybody in on who he is. He is Abby's step uncle. So her mom, Abby's mom, Anna, David Erskin is her step brother. He is also a volunteer firefighter, and he was on the team that actually took care of the Flora fire, and also on one of the search teams that was looking for Abby and Libby on the 14th. There's been, and you guys probably know that like one of my pet peeves in this whole thing is like who actually was there, who was part of which search parties, who actually came upon the girls first. Why in 6.5 like that nobody has the same story on this part? It's very odd. You have like Pat Brown who's saying, or not Pat Brown, you have Ron Logan who's saying Pat Brown found him. And then you got David says he was the first on the scene. You've got other people who were in these search parties. So my understanding and kind of where I'm at currently, and obviously I wasn't there, I don't know, nobody's coming forward with actually giving up this info, is that there seems to be like multiple search parties that were happening because they were doing like a grid search. Why all the civilians were doing this too, I don't know. That they like kind of submerged upon each other at the same time of finding the girls. And I think most anybody who's followed this case has heard the story about somebody being across on the south side of the bridge on the other property across the creek, which is, I can show you guys on the map too, that somebody supposedly saw deer and then like was looking in their phone and zoomed in and saw a deer. Can't even get a straight answer on who that was. I have so many screenshots that contradict each other. It's I don't know. They sure have. Yeah, he's one that was very much stayed under the radar, which is interesting. There's a handful of people that I wonder why nobody really has ever talked about. And it's very interesting how certain persons that are in the area or were there that day or they're the 14th, how they get a lot of attention and then other people get none. Like, how do we pick and make sure I do a good job? You know, I'll do my best. Why some people get so much attention and the other ones just don't get any? Oh, is he really? Well, yeah, he definitely stayed under the radar. Who is Jake Johns? See, there you go, Janie. I'm like, who is he? The link is open for the... Did you put it back on? I wasn't going to play it. I was just going to go over my notes. Did you put it back up? Let me look. I didn't write down timestamps of anything because I was just going to go over my notes. But let me see if... So if you guys aren't familiar, it was Art of Deduction that had the conversation with David Erskin this last weekend. Delphi. I thought it was down. I didn't think you wanted it up. All right. Sounds like my husband's taking the little one out to play now. So that's probably noisy. Sorry. I don't know why this isn't wanting to load anything on your channel for me all of a sudden. There we go. No, I don't see it. I don't see it. Where is it? I don't see it on your channel, Frank. All right, well, let me know. I can absolutely play it. I won't know timestamps and stuff. So, hi everybody that just popped in under videos. It's not there. There's only one video under videos. It's not there, honey. So he was one of them that was part of a different search party that was... I'll refresh it. There it is. Thank you very much. I will play it. If you're okay with it, I will do it. We'll just have to go through it, but I appreciate that. So I guess what I was saying, my gut is that I think that there's like multiple groups of people that kind of submerged on each other at about the same time. So we're going to go through, I want to go through some of the stuff that had happened back in 2017, and then we'll get to the interview or conversation. I should just call it a conversation because that's really more what it was. It was just a conversation and not like, it was more comfortable than like an interview, I guess I would say. That's the right word. So David Erskin had a conversation with somebody online back towards the beginning of the case, and during that conversation had given up some details of the crime scene as he had come upon it. Now, you guys can take this for what you want. You can take it with a grain of salt. You can take it as it's serious. You can take it however you want. There has been a lot of rumors over the years, because obviously we're almost 7 years after the crime was committed. There's been a lot of rumors that there are fake texts out there as well. I don't know. I don't know if I believe that. So, and maybe there is, and then somebody else told me that there's even more out there that I don't have, and I have not found them. So, and nobody sent them to me. So this is what I've got, and this is what I'm going to show you. Oh, Jake Johns, Janie Lane, thank you. Yeah. So, from my understanding, he's the one who saw the deer. Forpit, since you actually are friends with him, you'll probably be able to answer this better. But after everything I've looked at, Jake Johns, I believe, is the one who had the cell phone on the south side of the bridge and was the one who saw the deer. So, and there is some information that from what we know now doesn't quite add up. But like we'll talk about it. So first, let's go back to this. And hello, everybody that's popped in. Let's take a drink first. So this is in, let me get you guys, I'll grab the link for you guys again. So once again, this is open for you guys. It's a public link. Once again, I'll give you the lowdown. It is not complete, but I do add stuff to it every day. So we'll just go through what's on here. I'm gonna wet my whistle first. Yes, he was one of the first on scene. We do know that. It just seems to be contradictory to who was actually the first one there and who was with who, if that makes sense. Like who was in which group with who. Like there's no way that 5 or 6 people were out there on their own and then all came upon it together. I do think that there was a couple different groups or individuals that did come up. And then, of course, I think that because there was so many people out there searching, that others came over. And so are they actually saying, like, I found the girls because they were in this giant group of people who, like, kind of submerged on that area. And the scary part about that is, too, if that is what happened, how many people were really close to that? How many people were close to the girls? Okay, so these are not in any particular order because I have no idea what order these actually happened in. But David says, no, I'm fine. Me and my other sister's boyfriend are the ones who found the girls on Tuesday, and not much worse you can show me. So me and my other sister's boyfriend. So that is, his name is Ello, E-L-L-O. And he was out there searching that day as well. So his other sister being Anna's sister, and Anna's full-blooded sister. So he says, no, not even close. These are not full conversations, so take it, like I said, you have to take it for what you want. This is what I have. If you guys happen to have more and you want to send them, feel free to do so. Hi, Sleuthy. Says, not even close. So this person says, okay, this is a sick rumor, and I'm sorry to have to show you this, and thanks for letting me know. David says, no, that's not her nor Libby. Abby was placed there on the ground like a doll, hood up, hands folded, wearing the same clothes as the pic from the bridge. He says, David says, coroner's report stated everything was over by 3:30, no rape. Oh, thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. So then the person says, but I was told the report was not released. Becky told me the families have not been told whether they were raped or not. David says, and she lied to you. The Person says, also, Abby survived until the next day and she tried to crawl away. Once again, you guys have to take this as a grain of salt. This one is, David, you told me you found the girls. I just want to confirm the second person with you was Ivan and the third was a lady. So this is Ivan Brumbaugh, and that he was out there searching also. He was also tipped in as a person of interest in the case. So it gets so convoluted. David says, no, my sister's husband, and then we called 2 county deputies, Drew Yoder and Darren Janakoa. This is also an interesting comment because this changes. But he says, my sister's husband. I'm going to say that it's the same person, boyfriend, husband, because they do get married. And I don't know the context of the dates of exactly when this happened. So this one I put kind of together because you can see it's the same. Like this is like an actual screenshot, and these are like somebody taking a picture of their computer screen. But the beginning of this is the same. And why we don't have all of it this way or all of it this way, I don't know. This is just, years of shit being changed up. So the comment from David is, whoever did it targeted Libby for sure and knew what they were doing with Abby. It was personal with Libby. The person says, yes, I heard Libby had most of the injuries, but it could be that she was trying to defend Abby and she was bigger. And David says, Libby's head was an inch away from being taken completely off, and Abby was stabbed in the heart and artery in her neck. So once again, that's the same as this, but it changes here. So the person says, I was told their nails were removed. Who would have time to do that if it was just a revenge kill? He says, nails were not removed, open caskets, Libby just had to wear a scarf. And then there's a part of a message here, but I don't know what the rest of it is. And then he says, they were not bounded, they were touching, but not tied together. Abby was dressed, Libby was nude. Libby's top half was covered with leaves and sticks, almost like they were trying to cover her. Person says, but you said there was no rape. If there was no rape, there's no DNA. He says, correct. I don't know why she was nude, but I read the coroner's report. The only DNA would be from Libby's fingernails. She fought like hell. Person says, yes, maybe it is the DNA they are referring to. Please let me know if there's anything else. If I come across anything, I will contact you. A few years back, he joined a Facebook group, and I was actually trying to grab some of these. Then I had to go make a bologna sandwich, so this is why it looks kind of all wonky. But I will add them all to this as I can, and I'll try to mark off the names. Some of the names are pretty common in the case anyway. But he does join a Facebook group along with his ex-wife. Also joins the Facebook group to defend him and say, hey, like, leave him alone. So the first one that I already had in here before is like, just to clarify, you did say, let me go back in here so I can move this so you guys can actually see it. That you did say you sent the text in the beginning about what you saw, and he says, yes, he did. So he also says, I understand that, like I said a few years ago, I joined just to defend myself. It's been 3 years. Me and my sister and my family will never be over it or move on from it, but we all live with the great memories we had of Abby. My daughters still talk about all the fun stuff they used to do with Abby. I'm okay with people making their assumptions about me. I have dealt with it since day one, but my ex-wife and my children do not need to be mentioned or brought up. That's ridiculous. Could not agree more. But that's how things happen here. I don't know. Everything gets very personal, and I don't agree with it. So he says, I have no idea. Like, this is one of his ex-wives who he's talking about that keeps getting brought up in the conversation, that she ended up getting a divorce, and she ended up in a same-sex marriage, and that somebody's talking to him about that. And he's like, I have no idea why that has anything to do with Abby and Libby. And it doesn't. So like I said, I was trying to throw these in here real quick. So I'll cut down to what the important ones are once I can finish it up. So this person asks, you have every right to your opinions. I actually know him and know the truth. Oh, there you go. That's Becca. He tells her, you're right. I was at both of the crime scenes, meaning he was at the Flora fire and at the Delphi scene. He says, I'm also a firefighter first responder, and that's kind of what I do. The same guys that were at the house fire with me were also there February 14th, standing behind me over a tragedy. It's kind of what we do. He says, I've been questioned multiple hours of interrogation, polygraph tested, and DNA swabbed, along with my brother-in-law and 35 other males that were on my search and rescue squad. There have been thousands of people questioned. It says, if you're talking about Curtis Borden, he is the assistant chief. Yes, they are my screenshots. It was very shortly after it all happened. So this is one of the reasons I wanted to put this in here, because he does clarify more of a timeline of when those messages are, and says it was very shortly after it happened. And Cheryl kept prying me for information and making speculations. I won't say that. So I told some information that I had seen being at the crime scene after the bodies were discovered. I got tired of her speculations and rumors. I figured people would want to know at least some bit of truthful information. But I learned my lesson on that, so now I don't tell anyone any kind of information. Hi to everybody who's popped in. Thank you guys for joining. So I will add the rest of the screenshots and just kind of cut it down to the important stuff that's in there. That should be added in there. But that just kind of gives you a little bit of a backstory on who David Erskin is. He was... Oh, hold on one second, you guys. Okay, sorry about that. So he, obviously being at two crime scenes, one that had his own niece, I can't imagine the scarring that any of our first responders go to, but when it's kids, it's just like a whole nother level. And then make it a kid and it be your own family, like, holy shit. Ultimately, he ends up moving to Texas in 2020. He gets remarried, has another child, and seems to have a good job, seems to be doing really well. And I personally don't think David Erskin has anything to do with anything besides the fact that he was there and found the girls. And that's obviously important because of the timing and the groups of people who were there and who potentially could have contaminated a scene or who could have, done anything. Plus the knowledge that type of person would have. I do not think he's involved in the crime in the slightest. Never been one that I've thought of. He did own a red Jeep, which is interesting. He did own a red Jeep. Hi, The Unraveling. Welcome. All right, so before we get into the other part of the interview, or into the conversation from this weekend, Abby was found not a jumper. She was found in a sweatshirt that was a swimming team sweatshirt. And that was the one that Libby was wearing that day, or had taken to wear that day. It's also, that would take us down a totally different path. So I'm not going to go there. I won't go there today, but it is interesting because, Libby didn't even want to take a sweatshirt. So, and some people are colder. So maybe Necessary Evil. So I'll drop that back in here again. As long as you guys are going in, looking at this with the understanding that it is not complete. There's still some empty holes. There's still things that have to be filled in. And when I was talking about like, does anybody even know who this is? Like, she was in a Facebook group right at the beginning and said she was there, and then you never hear from her again, So, oh yeah, I agree with that. I couldn't even, just think of that's just crazy to me, the amount of it. So, Frank did say we could use the video, so I do appreciate that. I really just took a crap ton of notes, so I was going to go through the notes with you guys. I'll start back at the beginning. I didn't even actually realize how many pages of notes I did take. Oh, a jumper in the UK is a sweatshirt? Look at me learning stuff. I like it. Yeah, the trauma in that town. But the thing is, it's like going through and looking at all the persons of interest in the area, and just this is a tiny little fraction of what people have talked about over the years. It's so crazy just to look at the criminal history in that area. There's so much there. I don't know who I was talking to the other day, but I was like, the craziest part to me is that you have these girls who are, they have loving families, but they're surrounded by a lot of really bad shit. I mean, let's be honest. They're surrounded by a lot of really bad shit in a tiny ass town. There's a lot of bad stuff going on around them. Whether they knew about it or not, I don't know, but I'm just saying. And then the odds of some random guy from CVS being the perpetrator, like they're just all like that. I mean, I don't know. Woo. That's why I said I can't go too far down that, because I'll take it a totally different path. Hi, Hybrid Pisces. But they're just surrounded by just, and I only say that because it's such a small ass town. It's not like LA, where there's a lot of bad people, but then there's also like the better side areas, but there's still bad people. You know what I mean? This is like, it's a tiny town. There's a lot of bad people around that little tiny town. No wonder there was like 1,000 persons of interest via social media and law enforcement. I have to cough. I'll be right back. Okay. Yeah, it does. It does. It's one of those, and it's, I struggle with cases like this, and I typically end up not covering them because I can't, the animosity and the hatred and the craziness that surrounds it becomes so much bigger than what the case is itself. I struggle with that. I struggle with that with Summer Wells, struggle with that with Delphi right now, struggle with that back in Watts days. All right, let me pull this up. Let me check your guys' comments real quick before I go too far into this, though. Oh yeah. It's traumatic. Well, good thing you do. You can tell me what a jumpsuit is. Can't wait to hear if BB described what the girls were wearing. Oh, that's a great question. Red also. His dad's Jeep, I believe, was red. Lambert. Hi, Spicy. Hey, Leslie. See, that's the next song you need to do. Okay. Just seeing if you guys had any questions or things that you wanted to talk about before we started this part. Abby was wearing Libby's sweatshirt and then Libby's jeans. This is an interesting thing to me because for some reason now in the last like week or so, people are coming back and saying that she wasn't wearing Libby's jeans. So I'm really confused on that. I don't know where that's coming from because I thought that once that memorandum came out, there was all the people who were like, no, she wasn't wearing them. She was wearing her own jeans. And then all those people came over and decided, no, yes, she was wearing Libby's jeans. But now there's a whole new crew that's saying, no, she's wearing her own jeans. So take that for what you want. It wouldn't make sense to me to say she's wearing, I mean, it would be obvious if she was wearing Libby's jeans or not, in my opinion. Right. Hi, Travis. Now that there is a clear break until 1:18, I'm going to have some time looking at the website. It looks so high level. Well, thank you. Once again, it's not done, though. So you got to just probably check it all the time. Hi, Sleuthy. Libby was wearing gray track pants with black writing. That was the original statement. Yep. The only reason I find this to be important. Oh, hi, Frank Meister. Libby was not wearing jeans. She had on gray sweatpants. See, where did it come from then that the jeans were changed and now they're changed back to that she wasn't? But then the family supposedly told Gray that it was jeans, which is why he ended up changing his mind. I don't know. It's all very confusing to me. Like I said, I would think it would be kind of obvious if it was not her jeans. You spoke to Becky and she still said, okay, well, that makes no sense to me then. That's interesting. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it because I'm just like, I'm dumb. I don't know. I have no idea because it doesn't add up that she was wearing Libby's jeans to, and if she's not wearing Libby's jeans, then going back to what David said about the clothes that Abby was found in being the clothes that she was wearing on the bridge, the only big change would be the sweatshirt. Now, I have the question comes into that if there's a pair of underwear missing, we've gone through like the scanner from that day, and we know they find a pair of underwear that they're asking for an evidence bag for. We have the pictures of the stuff in the water that was rumored to have been Libby's shirt, Libby's underwear, and one of the Nike shoes. If there's a pair of underwear that are missing from the scene and a sock that is missing from the scene, then that would have to be Abby's underwear. And I hate even like talking about like this shit, but it's just, I'm trying to just go straight as I can with it. Hold on. What's going on here? Right. I'll ask Sunny too. Hopefully she's going to come on too and she can help clarify some of these questions that I do have. You guys I hope you guys aren't fighting in here. All right, hold on. I'm going to look at comments real quick. Don't say anything about the families. But saying that she should stick to the gag order is not talking shit. They all have a gag order. That's how it is. All right, like that's the thing. Be nice to each other. We don't trash the families, but stating a fact is not. There's nothing that's not trashing anybody. It's entirely possible that Libby changed into jeans. It is absolutely possible, and that's why I said even the people who were saying before that she had on the gray sweatpants. Yeah, no, Frank, you're fine. No, I don't want anybody saying anything bad about the families. Don't say, yeah, I don't want anybody saying anything bad about the families, but them being under gag order, I mean, I think that's just factual. But don't talk crap. I don't want anybody talking crap on the families at all. Hi, all eyes on Delphi. I can't wrap my mind around a person doing what happened to the girls and leaving them how they were found on someone else's property, right the fuck next to a public trail during the day. This taking them, it's just crazy. And the whole thing, the whole thing is statistically just unheard of. Do any of the PDF docs describe the clothes that the girls were in? On the missing posters that were very first put on, all the missing persons info that originally came out talked about that Abby had on jeans, Abby had on a maroon shirt, her Converse shoes. I have it. Let me see if I have it handy. And that and a gray sweatshirt, and that Libby had on gray sweatpants. I missed it, Miranda. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I don't want that either. Thank you. That Libby had on gray sweatpants with black writing, a tie-dye shirt, her Nike shoes, and I don't know if they actually, I think they, I should just find it. Let me just find it. Because they say a pullover sweatshirt, but she didn't have that on per se. Because they, from the interviews with the family, they say that they made her take it with them. Okay, so from here on, be nice to each other. If you don't like each other, ignore each other or block each other. Don't talk shit about the family. Stating something as a fact that this is what happened, or this is where they were, or this is what was said, I'm totally okay with that. Don't talk shit on anybody. Don't talk shit on each other. Just don't talk shit. And I think everybody would be just fine. I mean, I tell you guys this constantly, like, spreading kindness is so much easier than just being an asshole. Just try it. Try it. So, okay, I'm going to start this. Maybe I'm not, because I have somebody coming in. Be nice to each other. I'll be right back. No fighting. No, that's why I'm like, if you state anything that's factual about the families, that's fine. But I just don't want people talking shit. Like, nobody needs to be mean. Nobody needs to call anybody names. I just don't. It just becomes too much. And then look at how much time we have to spend talking about that versus actually talking about the case, which I think is what we're all here for. We're all here to talk about the case. So please, I'm begging you. I don't want to block people on the channel, and I really appreciate every one of you guys for being here. I don't want it to turn into a fight. And yeah, just kindness. Yeah, just be nice. Okay, now I'm going to play this, and I don't remember if I hit the damn sound button. So I'm going to need you guys to make sure that you can hear it.
Well, it's obvious, David, why I'm calling you. I'm not gonna beat around the
We got to
bush.
fix the volume
But
on this thing.
Chris Todd, that is definitely he's an interesting guy. And to be honest, I always been suspicion that you
It's
contacted
very
him
low.
before.
It's very, very low.
Reporters, journalists, people wanted to get
You
me to
hear him
go on
okay?
their show and do interviews. Like I'm not about that.
No, I got that.
I don't.
All right, I think we'll just end up talking about it. This is just, it's so low. And Frank, I don't know if you're still here, but if you're gonna keep it up on the channel, it may take it down and up the volume. It's really low. I think we'll just talk about it because I think it'll be the easiest to do it that way. Anyway. I'll just go back in here so you guys can see that. Hi, Deets. Yeah, it's too low to hear it. So we'll just go through it. Like I said, I wrote pretty extensive notes about the whole thing anyway. So we'll just do it that way. So I already mentioned to you guys that David moved to Texas in 2020. So he actually doesn't even live there. He doesn't live there any longer. Hi, Tia, by the way. Dina, KO, do you have the transcript of this? No, but I took pretty extensive notes. Should have a volume boost. Yeah, I mean, I can download it and up the volume myself. But if he's got, if people are gonna listen to it on his channel, I want him to know to up the volume of it. Hold on, you guys are making me have to drink more Dr. Pepper. Hold on, I can just do it this way then. You guys hang tight. I'm gonna fix the volume. You guys would rather hear that or go through the notes? If you want to hear it, I can just up the volume of it real quick. Just throw it in the editor and up it. No, I don't think so. No, he says that's not true. And I've never heard that ever. So that was just the person talking to him. That was just the person talking to him that was saying that they had heard that. I think it's a she, that she had heard that. And he says, no, that's not true. You guys are funny. Notes, both. Closed captioned. I'm just going to grab it and up the volume of it anyway. Okay. Well, let's start going through the notes. That's what you guys want to do. That's what the majority of you have voted for. So we'll do that. Okay, so he talks about that he moved to Texas in 2020. He's got a good job. I'm not going to go through all that. He says that Chris Todd actually, if you guys remember, we just went through Chris Todd's book. Chris Todd rubs a lot of people the wrong way. I think he kind of does it on purpose. It's just part of who he is. He likes to ruffle feathers. Plus, I think he's got a lot of history where people have pissed him off, so he just doesn't give a shit anymore. And so he talks about that Chris Todd contacted him 2 to 3 years ago. It's probably closer to 2, I would say, simply because of when the book was written and when we know that Chris Todd was getting access to information. He says there's been like thousands of people, at least 1,000 people that have contacted him in hopes of getting an interview. The only reason that he ended up talking to Chris Todd was because Chris Todd was relentless and wouldn't stop. And Chris Todd did send him a copy of his book. He does not state whether he read it or not. I have read it. I did a book review on it. Oddly enough, it was a very easy read. It's not super expensive if it's something that you want to get and read through. I gave the opinion that it's not. Don't buy it thinking you're purchasing a novel. You're not buying a book that's written to have, a beginning, middle, and the high points and the arcs and all. That's not what that is. It's literally just Chris Todd's story saying, this is how I started. This is what I know. This is what I got. This is how I got here, and this is where I ended at. I kind of refer to it as like a really, really long like Facebook post. That's what I think it is. It's just, it's easier that way. But it was worth the read. That's my opinion. David Erskin does believe that Richard Allen and Ron Logan are the perpetrators. And Frank brings up that when he interviewed Eric Williams last year, that Eric Williams, if you guys remember who Eric Williams is, he was one of the searchers who was there the night of the 13th searching. He does an interview on TV with, it's kind of interesting because he's actually with Carrie's brother, but they talk to Eric instead. So he goes there with Libby's uncle searching for him. He's the one who walks through the woods and sees the animal remains, bones, and whatnot that he found very interesting. All Eric's screenshots are in here if you guys are interested in that and you want to look through those. It's all in here too. So he mentions to Derek. I always want to call David Derek. If I do it on this live, somebody just tell me. I don't know why I can't. It's David. So Frank is telling David that Eric saw tire marks at the scene on the 13th. It kind of just tells him that story. David doesn't really say anything. Frank asked David if he believes that the girls crossed the creek or if it was possible that the girls crossed the creek. And David thinks that it is possible that they did. He doesn't think it would have been too hard for them to do. He says he's 5'11". There's areas that are a little bit higher and they would have been, around knee high at that time. Mm-hmm. He says he's not going to answer too many questions. He's under a gag order that he was given on December 2nd of last year that includes all of family or any party of the case, which he is. He would definitely be included in the gag order. It's obviously harder to enforce a gag order across state lines, but it can be done. Talks about the texts from the 2017, that those are the truth. And we read through those texts already, so I'm not going to reread them. But the important part is that he asked Frank to send him the text. He asked Frank to send him the text talking about that Abby was stabbed in the heart and an artery in her neck. And he says he's 104% sure that he did not say that Abby was stabbed in the heart. So he asks Frank to send him this message. So then Frank asks about if the comment about Libby's head. I'm saying this so matter of fact, but let me tell you guys, I know it's a big deal. I know what we're talking about. I think it's become so desensitized because these have been out for so long. But I just want you guys to know. I mean, it is. I don't know. I don't know if she was stabbed in the heart. We don't know that. Nobody has said that. Nobody has said that she was. He's saying that 104% he did not send this message. Like I told you guys before, there's been rumors now that there's fake screenshots from David Erskin out there. I don't know. So Frank asked him about Libby's head was an inch away from being taken off, and he says that is correct. He does say that's correct. Ooh, what did Fort Pitt say that's interesting? Let me go back. I'm not surprised because Libby's uncle is also in a group of friends that are somewhat like that. So coffee never sucks. So that's tough. Teresa, how do I know that? Oh, hold on. Oh, that's Teresa. Okay, let me see. Gag order in Texas. It's kind of like the whole thing that we talked about, like when it came to the photos. Like a judge can go ahead and say, yeah, I'm going to hold them all in contempt, or I'm going to do something about it. But doing it across state lines is not as easy. It's just not as easy. I don't know what they're going to do. They're going to fly out there and arrest him for gag order. I mean, I'll tell you right now, if they thought that he was involved or had information that he didn't share with them at the beginning, or they were waiting for a reason to go after him, they would find one. They would find one using the gag order, and they'd find a workaround around it to go get him from Texas. But just being the uncle and the guy that found him, if they don't think anything of him anymore, they're not going to do anything. So. Right? It's interesting. They're all. That's a good interview. It's a good interview with Anna. We'll go through those at 1.2. Yeah. I don't know, and I'm gonna take a guess no, but I wasn't part of the conversation, and nor have I ever asked to know anything. No, so the gag order is technically, so this is another strange thing. And we want to go about like the logistics of what a gag order actually encompasses. It's to stop the parties from talking to the media and sharing details about the case that could create an unfair trial. So that's like the biggest thing. Now, here, so one, Frank is in the Netherlands. Frank is not media, but he could be deemed as media. But according to Fran Gohl, none of us are media, that we do not qualify as media in her courtroom. So technically, if you go by what Fran Gohl says, David could talk to whoever the hell he wants to, except for anybody that's an actual media person. So I'm like, and that's true, Lynn. And that's one thing is, I do think the families were given some more information that they are not putting out to the public, that they were told to keep to themselves. And I think that they have honored that request even before the gag order. And I think part of that becomes why we, the public, somewhat think that there is inconsistencies, because there's different pieces that they're like, no, we can't say. But then this one over here is like, oh, I'm going to say a little piece of it over here, and I'll say a little piece of it over here. And ultimately, their statements become unreliable. Does that make them bad people? No. And this is where I fall in, like, I don't want to say anything bad about them, because I don't think they're bad people. I think they're trying to do the right thing, and what they think they're going to get is, I think they're trying to get, they have faith in law enforcement. They have faith that law enforcement's doing the right thing. They're trying to do the right thing. That's what I think. And this is how I feel. You guys can feel differently. I don't think they're doing it because they're bad people and they're lying. I just don't. I think that they're doing it because every one of them is putting out a little bit more information here and there, and it becomes bad. Yeah, nobody should be talking to anybody, not right now. I think it's probably a really bad idea to try to talk to somebody right now. But I don't know. But here I am talking about the information. So I'm kind of like, am I pot calling kettle black here? They don't want to slip up. Hold on, I think I missed a comment. That is probably what you guys are talking about. You're wrong. He is media. Not according to Fran Gohl, he's not. And she's the one who issued the gag order. So that's what I'm saying. If you go to what she says we are not media. If you go to what media really is, then we are. Yes. Right. And that's what caused, that's exactly what caused so much speculation about this being a revenge killing based on him potentially becoming an informant. We're talking about Libby's dad. He did not. Did he know it was being recorded? I don't even know if it matters at this point. It's what's done is done. This whole tree thing is starting to really confuse me here. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not accusing anybody. Do not dox or name family members? What do you mean? Because doxing, nobody's giving out their personal information. If they're public, like their name. I think we all know their names. Yeah, she threatened to arrest the content creators because they aren't journalists. So she doesn't get to have, that's my point. That was my whole point. Thank you, Libertarian, for saying it much better than I did. Wonder why FBI still has young bridge guy sketch on their website saying he's an unknown suspect wanted for the murder. Because you want me to answer that? My opinion? My opinion is because the FBI doesn't think that Richard Allen's the right guy. The FBI thinks that there's this young guy that's out there, potentially. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't even know anymore. Who knows what the hell they all think. Hey, Carla. Oh, man. It's already been fun. Okay, I'm going to go back to my notes. Let me make sure I finish that one. So Frank asked about whether David knows Mark Robert, and we're all familiar with Mark Robert, Mr. Leaker, and who's involved in any type of leak that's happening in Delphi. Like, you'll find Mark Robert's fingerprints. Maybe not literally, but. And he says he doesn't know him. He doesn't think he knows him. If he knows him, he doesn't remember knowing him. And then Frank asks him about Ruckus and why he wouldn't talk to Ruckus. And David says, I don't even know who that is. I don't know why I wouldn't talk to somebody. And he says he's gone about 4.5 years, does not talk about the case, has not talked about the case. Since the beginning in 2017, he told the truth, and it became a nightmare for him, for his wife, and for his kids. There was other kids at the school that were telling his daughters that he was the perpetrator. I scared the crap out of the kid. I don't even know why. I never understood that. How do the kids even know? But they know too much. He's only talked to Chris Todd about the case in the last couple of years. So then Frank goes back to talking about the creek and could Abby and Libby have crossed the creek? David says yes, he does believe that they absolutely could have. We talked about this earlier too, because it kind of repeats on that part, like that it was only knee high. He's 5'11". There was areas that they could have crossed. But he has no idea if there is evidence to show that they did. So they could have, and now they're saying he doesn't know if he can't prove that they did. He doesn't know if there's evidence. Yes, it is. Frank asks him about tire marks, and David says where, and he says he doesn't know the Weber property. He only found out about the bridge on the 13th, even though he was from the area, didn't know that there was even a bridge there. He essentially knew that Logan owned property there, that the Mears owned property there, and he knew of the Hoosier Harvest store. But he didn't know who Logan was until the 14th, when they found the girls on this property. Frank asks a question and says, what led to the discovery of the bodies? David says, I can't say. Can't say. So Frank says, was there like a visual implication that led to the discovery of the bodies? David's comment here was very interesting. He's like, depends on the rest of that statement. So Frank says, was it deer? David says, no. Frank says, was it footprints? David says, no. Was it drag marks? David says, no. Was it tire marks? No. Where? What tire marks? Like, what kind of tires are we talking about? And Frank's like, I don't know. You tell me. He's like, four-wheeler, car tires. And then David says ATVs, the only people he knew on ATVs that day were Ello and Amy. Well, we know from the news, we saw Cody Patty on a four-wheeler that day also during the search. Says whatever the visual implication was, and I'm using their words, so visual implication to me means there was some visible sign that led to the discovery of the bodies. David says it was not obvious at first glance. Frank says, was it coming from the creek? David says, yes, it was coming from the creek, but was not obvious at first glance. So coming from the creek, not obvious at first glance. He says it was not mud or drag marks. So we've got no deer, no footprints, no drag marks, not tire marks. But it was something. He says he's not going to say what it is. He won't say what it is. So Frank makes a comment. He says, so the ground was disturbed, obviously. We're going to leave it at that. This is what Frank said. And David says, okay. I thought that was kind of, the ground was disturbed, obviously. So David just says, okay. He doesn't say yes and he doesn't say no. I'm thinking close. I am thinking close, but they said it's not obvious at first. Hi, Julie. The shoe, the clothes. The only other thing the only other thought I came up with was blood. Nope, drag marks. Says not drag marks. Hey, Maced Mama. I lived in Indiana, not even 2 hours away when all this happened. It was all over our news at the time. I love your tude. Keep up the good work. Ah, Maced Mama, thank you. Jinxed. The 3 shoes. Says no, because he already said not deer. He'd already said not deer, not footprints, not drag marks, not tire marks. It's a visual implication coming from the creek. And then Frank says, okay, so we're going to just go with the ground was disturbed, obviously. And David says, okay. So, yes, Jake John saw the clothes across the creek, then the girls. Cody told my sister that. So Jake Johns didn't see deer and then see the girls. He saw clothes and then he saw the girls. Okay, Julie, I have to ask then. I literally went through I was hanging out in the chat of It's a Crime and Shame, and we were going through this whole thing with the picture. I'm gonna find it real quick so I can show it to you guys. Actually, I think it's in here. This is why I'm putting everything in here, because then I'll know that it's in here. But some stuff's not here yet. So, but I think it's actually in this one. Let's go. Nope. Close. In this picture right here, we were talking about this picture and we were going through where this picture could have been taken at, because it was always assumed that it was on the south side by the Weber property, on the bridge side. And then the timing of the shadow, this person would have to be standing on the south shore facing north. So the clothes would have been on the same side as Jake Johns. But then here's the interesting thing, is they say that Ello is the one that took this picture. So if Ello took the picture and he's standing on the south side, he could have easily gone over on the ATV because he's one that's wearing an ATV. He said that they saw them across the creek. So then who took the photo? So the person, you know what? Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I'm going to have to, you know what? I have a thought here. He's on an ATV. He could be standing up on an ATV. This is one of the things that we were talking about, is that it looks like he's standing like on the shore, but he's on an ATV. He could easily just stand up on the ATV. The shadow looks like BG. Let me see real quick if I can grab. I'm gonna grab this photo that I sent from the helicopter footage of where I thought the clothes were, and then you guys, and then we'll go right back to this, because like I said, you guys know how I can do. I can go down a different rabbit hole and sit here with that for a long time, but I want to finish this and keep it this way. We should just do a live of just any freaking rabbit hole we want to talk about. That's what we should do. Hold on, let me find this picture of where I thought it was in the creek on the helicopter footage. But then it also becomes interesting because these are time-stamped 11/13 and 11/14. There's 3 photos, and they have the metadata that shows that they were taken at 11/13. Now, Travis was over there, and he was saying that there's probably an issue with the standard time, and it's probably actually 10/13. Based on the sun. Now, I can't go that far. I don't know all the sun, like put the sun over here kind of stuff like that. I have to talk to my husband. That's my husband's thing. I don't know that stuff. So he was saying that he actually thought it was actually earlier, and it was 10/13. So I found that very interesting because one of the things that David ends up saying. So just keep that in mind. I'm trying to find this picture for you guys real quick. I sent it in a chat, so I don't actually like have it to like pull up real quick. I gotta go find it. But we determined that couldn't be the spot. But you know what? I'm thinking that some of the things that David said means it could be the spot. Let me see. I cannot see chat, so if you guys are talking to me, I have no idea what you're saying. Just FYI. Here it is. Coming back. Okay. So Cody said that Jake was on the Weber side and saw clothes in the water at the edge of the creek across the creek. All right, let me scroll back up so I can see what you guys missed. Hey, tree baby. Where are the leaves and sticks gathered from that area? Hi, C-Dub. Okay, in photos, you can't see nothing. No footprints, no drag marks. But the only thing I can think is the ground was frozen, maybe, just maybe, but I can't see anything. There were clothes in the creek. Someone climbing up the bank, but he says no footprints. See, according to Becky Patty in her comments, that Pat Brown did not see the deer. I'm wondering if anybody saw any deer. Yeah, what kind of deer are just hanging out there? I'm at that point. I used to think that, okay, that makes sense. You saw deer, you're across the creek. But now that we know how many people were on the other side of the creek, I don't think there's deer. I'm at the point where I'm like, I don't believe there's deer. Unless you're feeding them and they're just friendly, which I have seen. Cody said Jacob's on the Whippers. Okay, I already read that one. That's possible. Canoe or kayak marks. Well, we know that one of them was, I think it was Mike Patty that was going down in a canoe. But that was, I don't think there would have been any marks that would have led to that. Not even an ATV could easily cross. Yeah, so he says, yeah, that, I don't think I've gotten to that yet, but he does. He says that they were found earlier in the day. He's like, I can't remember the exact time, but here's something I did notice about David's comments. His time is not something that I would actually count on, because he talks about that he hasn't talked to anybody in this case for 4.5 years. He didn't talk to anybody. Well, that's not true. He went into a Facebook group. I showed you the screenshots. Do I think he's lying? No, I think he doesn't understand time. He also talks about the fact that he talked to Chris Todd 3 years ago. No, Chris Todd just got the pictures of the clothes in the creek in December of 2022, which is a year ago. So I think I'm not 100% that I trust his time on everything, but I do think it's interesting because Becky Patty also says that she was contacted at 11:30 is when she got a call. And Kelsey said that once the clothes were found, it was very soon, within minutes after the clothes were found, that the girls were found. So when somebody screams up, hey, what clothes were the girls wearing? And Kelsey says she knows, but then changes that to she didn't know. I don't know. That's a whole nother story. It becomes quite interesting. Like, what time actually, the 11 o'clock makes the most sense to me based on the other things that happened around it. But I don't know. Let me see. I led Jake to see the girls. Weird thing is, and I quote, he saw one of the girls half in and half out of the water and the other further up on the bank, which is not the location of the crime scene per leaked pics. So this is could this possibly be where the in the creek stuff comes? Does he think that he sees one of the girls? If he is flat over here and he's seeing the bottom of a shoe, does he think he sees one of the girls in the water? Because he doesn't know that that's not one of the girls in the water. Do you know what I mean? Now I got way far behind on chat. No searchers, helicopter footage when Ellie was on scene. Yeah, the helicopter, a lot of people think that the helicopter footage is when they were searching for the girls. It's actually not. They were already found. The girls were found when the helicopter was going over, and when these guys were searching the water. The girls were already located. There was already crime scene tape up in the helicopter footage. So the timing of that is off. Well, according to David, the only people he knew that were on ATVs were Amy and Ello, but we know that Cody was also on an ATV per, I think I actually have that one right here. I was just looking at it. That's Cody. That's Cody Patty on an ATV on the 14th. So well, I think that there definitely was four-wheelers out there, you know, I mean, for many times before that, because they talk about that they were riding four-wheelers on Ron Logan's property for years. So seeing the tracks by Eric, I'm not sure really throws anything into, it has to be the bad guy that was on an ATV. That's what I'm wondering, Julie. Didn't Derek Erskin find a shoe? No, I think that's this. Well, that's not the right picture because that's the where I think it is. That's this shoe, I think. Was Cody with Jake? If Jake was on the other side by the Webbers, then he was on the side that Kelsey was on, and the side that Brad Weber was on. Not Brad Weber. Not Brad Weber. Brad German. Good thing I catch myself saying some of these names because they're all named the same damn thing. I don't believe they said here. Sleuth Intuition did a show on this where he thinks the clothes on the cemetery side, same as you're showing, Teresa, on the helicopter footage. Oh, really? I know. Seen deer there if it's quiet. Yep, they do. The picture JKK took across the creek shows the disturbance. Yeah, I'm going to bring that up in just a second, Lynn. If that person is taking a close-up on the water's edge, he was on the crime scene area. So okay, this is the issue, is the north or south side, because it would be the south side because that's where the shadow would go, right? And I don't want to go into that because, like I said, I did that for like an hour just being in the chat on It's Crime and Shame, and it was like we went all over the place. I think we ended up with the fact that it was on the south side. So Becky got a call. Becky, I shouldn't say Becky. I don't think Becky actually got a call. I think what she said, and if this is my memory, so take it for what you want, was that one of the searcher's wives was with her. And the searcher called his wife, who was with her, and then her sister came running up to her. Where can I find those, Teresa? So the clothes appear to be thrown into the creek. Were they up or downstream? Well, this really depends. So it depends on which direction is. This was another comment that we were talking about when it comes to this. It comes to the direction of the water. In the direction of the water, it goes east to west. And so then the clothes could have been pushed up against this if it was going east to west. But now if you're trying to say that this was taken and he's standing on the north side shore line, I don't understand the shadow. And then then that would mean the water was running from west to east, which I don't think it is. But like I said, I don't want to go too far down there because I'll stay there all day and go back and forth. Yes. Cody said it looked like claw marks in the bank. Oh. Yeah, I think so too. And if he really didn't go up close, there was always the rumor before that he or one of the others had walked up and checked the pulses. That was never substantiated. It was just something that was discussed, as far as I know, unless you guys have seen proof of it. Which ATV had diamond prints? No idea. This is the actual photo of the clothes. Yes. They planted photos within this picture. I don't know what that means. Alan must have taken the girls pretty far into the woods, like far away from anybody else, since nobody heard a gunshot or screaming or anything. Right, I don't think he shot his gun. So the screaming is also something that I've been very interested in, because people who have gone out there and stood at the crime scene can hear people talking at the bridge. So it's not like you wouldn't have heard it. They say they would have. This is allegedly the real photo. The call was at 11:30 according to Becky Patty. Becky, metadata on closed pick was 11:13 and 11:14. So yeah, that's where I'm at too, sees through. I'm confused with the helicopter footage. I remember watching it and they were still searching for the girls. You could hear the dispatch talking about who they were looking for. So I think what happened is somebody, and I know a few channels have done it, they've taken the helicopter footage and they've overlaid the dispatch audio on top of it. So you're watching the footage but listening to the dispatch audio. It's very similar to when you're watching the bridge guy video, you're not actually hearing him talk at that time. Somebody is putting the audio of him saying guys down the hill on top of him walking. He's not saying it in that video. It's just an overlay, putting the audio and the video together. It makes it kind of confusing. But the helicopter footage, they're not searching for the girls anymore. There's already crime scene tape up. They're searching for evidence, but they're not searching. They already found the girls. The easiest way to tell when the helicopter footage is to actually go to RTV6 on Facebook, their Facebook page, and you can see the time that the helicopter footage was going. It'll give you, remember, if you're not actually in Central, it's going to give you your time zone. So just go to the Central time zone from wherever you are, and that's the time that RTV footage was happening, because it's on their live feed. On the 13th, Capitan would not let anyone cross the bridge to get over to the other side. According to Eric Williams, that night, I have like a hair on my lip. That night, they were trying to stop him from crossing the bridge, and Eric said, I don't give a shit. I'm crossing it anyway, and you legally can't stop me from doing it. So Eric crossed the bridge that night, but Carrie's brother did not want to. He was worried, and so he went and got in the truck and drove onto the other side. Libby's hair was still very damp looking and slicked back as though she'd been washed or dunked in the water. That was clear from the pictures. I think he unalived Libby first, and Abby ran to escape in the creek, and he unalived her there. That's why no blood. Those texts were in one of the first videos. I don't know which one. Okay, I'll have to try to find something like that. Julie Mama, do you know who the woman was that was with BP, whose husband was in the search group, who found them? Supposedly he then called his wife, who was with Becky Patty, to say they found him. That's a great question, Kate. I think that was, but not sure, JJ's wife. I'm not sure anyone know. I don't know. I thought that too, only because it was originally said that was Pat Brown, and Becky said Pat Brown's wife was not with him. Well, not with her. There you go. Pat Brown's wife. Well, so in a Facebook comment, she says it wasn't Pat Brown's wife. Whatever. I said take it for what you want. It might not have even been BG who said that. Well, according to their initial comments, you're right, because they're like, we can't confirm that he's even the one that's saying that. So something either changed, or does this photo have a Gavin Fish watermark? No, it does not. These photos do not have a Gavin Fish watermark. They're just the regular photos. Photo. Now, the one this is in a timeline, so the one with Gavin Fish, I do have the one where I put his in there that has his watermark on it, because that was the whole thing. Ooh, I've not heard that. Oh, because of the second one, you think it might have been ejected. He found that one, and that's the one that ends up in the box in the house. Necessary Evil. One of Libby's shoes was under Abby. This is supposedly the second shoe of Libby's. Now, there's this whole thing about this other shoe that was said to have been found over by the bridge or under the bridge. I don't remember the exact terminology. Or on the drive. Maybe it was the drive that goes from... It goes from like the road into the Webbers. It's like a little back road. I can show you on the map. Am I like super far behind? I'm gonna scroll a little bit if I miss your guys' comments. I mean, I could ask. I don't know if he would do it. I don't know how much crap he's gotten since he's done interviews. That's kind of the thing. My internet is spotty? My internet shouldn't be. Are you guys... Does anybody else have that issue? Let me know if you guys are having an issue with my internet. Okay, babe. So this shoe right here, this is the same shoe. In this photo and this photo, this is the same shoe. It's just taken at a different angle. Which is actually a really good point now that we're talking about the shadows and stuff. This photo is taken and there is no shadow. And this photo is taken and there is a shadow. You hear? No, nobody's having any issues? Okay. Thank you guys for answering. No internet issues. Loud and clear, T. Loud and clear. Becky Patty. That's BP is Becky Patty. Okay. So this is the same shoe, just taken from the other side. And you can tell because the shirt is right here, which is right here. And it's this shoe just taken on this from this angle. Right, the shadow's the person's body taking the picture, which was my point. Like, I think that this would prove that they were on the south side taking the picture because the shadow would be north, right? Or you're just spitballing possibilities. I was like, that was a really good one. That was a really good one. Okay, I'll stick this back in here for you guys. Like I said, nope, that's the wrong thing. That's the live. That's not what I wanted to put in there, but... ban user and delete their comments. Can I do that to myself? I can't delete it. That's the live to, well, that's fine because that can go in there too. That's the live to the David Erskin interview. This is the link to this presentation that you guys have access to. It's a public site. Okay. Let me make sure I finish that page. So the ground being disturbed, they kind of just agree on it, which I thought was just kind of interesting because he doesn't actually say, yes, the ground was disturbed. He just agrees with Frank, like, okay, if that's what you're going to say, I'm going to go with you. I wish that he would have actually made a comment on it, but he doesn't. And then right then, David says, like you, and he stops himself, and he goes, never mind. And then Frank's like, go ahead. David says, I can't. That's the problem. I can't. And so Frank's like, well, just do like a hypothesis is what he calls it. He's like, just do like a hypothesis. And David's like, I can't. But he says, I don't know what you're implementing. This is what David says. I don't know what you're implementing, but it's not how it came about. That was another interest. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, okay, so the conversation flow is there's a visible implication coming from the creek. David says yes. Not obvious at first glance. Not drag marks, not mud, not deer, not footprints, not tire tracks. And so Frank says, okay, we're just going to say the ground was disturbed, obviously. David says, okay. And then he's like, never mind. Like never mind. I do. I think he meant implying, but that's not, I just was trying to be as accurate as I could. I don't know what you're implying, but he says, I don't know what you're implementing, but it's not how it came about. So just keep that part in mind. He says, this is the first time I've heard drag marks in 6 years. First time I've heard drag marks in 6 years. So he's never heard anything about drag marks before. He said he just recently found out about the marking on the tree that he thinks is irrelevant. and that the Odinism stuff doesn't make any sense to him. And he even asked Chris Todd about it when Chris Todd told him. So which means that would probably be more recently, I would assume. He said, that's not what happens in Delphi. Like the Odinism stuff, that's not what happens in Delphi. Delphi's full of perverted old men and weirdos. And a bunch of weirdos. Perverted old men and a bunch of weirdos. Frank shows him a photo, which I'm going to show you guys now. This is one of the photos from J. Kyle Keener. And he shows him this photo. This kind of discombobulates David. He doesn't really know. He's like, where is that? Like, what is this in relation to? What is this? This is not the right area. This is not, you know, what is this? He's like, all I see is some dude in a blue shirt, which I thought was hilarious. He's just like, that's just some dude in a blue shirt. He's like, it's not even the correct spot. This is Liggett. This picture right here, this is Tony Liggett out here on the crime scene, FYI. So he's just some dude in a blue shirt. He says that's not the correct spot. So that was interesting. Not the correct spot. Yeah, this is Liggett. Yeah. Yeah. He's like, it was just cracked me up because Erskin was like, yes, all I see is some dude in a blue shirt. Where is he supposed to be? Hold on. Let me see what you guys are saying. Disturbed doesn't have to mean drag marks, and you couldn't know they were drag marks. Weird to be so specific. I found it very interesting. It was something that just really stuck out to me. We had a lot of snow, and most of it melted over a day, and it all melted. But then it got very cold again. I think it was down in the 20s, the early morning hours of the 14th. Right? I don't know. I remember hearing that it was like 40 degrees the day before, or 40 degrees is sticking in my mind for something. Yeah, this is straight across. Yep, that's Liggett. Lynn said no, question mark. Lynn, did you ask a question up here and I missed it? Then if you asked a question, can you repeat it? Because I don't know where it went. I don't see it. She does. I'll check it out. I love Zav. Spot is over to the left of there as you were looking at it. The crime scene. The crime scene is to the left. Correct? Is that what you're saying? It's that way. Yeah, Ramblin'. What the hell? Where you been? Obviously too hard to climb up that bank at that spot. Maybe he's looking for a fourth shoe. Freaking Nancy. So this is the picture that he shows him. And Erskin says, I don't even know, what is this? Like, what am I looking at? Where's the water compared to here? All I see is some guy in a blue shirt. He says it's not the right spot. He asks Frank, is that supposed to be like the bank going into the creek? Where's the water? So he's very confused on where this even is. This doesn't make any sense to him. So he doesn't recognize it. Hi, True Crime Web. Right. That's what I think was happening after the fact. That's what I think they were doing. When we see like the helicopter footage, they're already found, and I think that's what they're doing is they're still going through to find all the evidence. Yeah, they're not done. It was the 12th when all the snow melted, which is ironic because then they get a snow day. Well, we know that Cody was for sure because we see him on one. 41 was the high on the 13th. Thank you, Janie Lane. I don't think there was ever, he doesn't seem to really know him. He doesn't seem to really know who he is. Downstream. Yeah, it's this way, up that way. So there are some interesting things, because I don't have this picture saved the correct way. It's harder for me to zoom in on it, but I'm going to do it. I'll do it this way. There are some, I mean, there's stuff, but like right here, I don't know if is that close enough for you guys to be able to see what that even looks like? Like right here. Is that just a stick and shadow? Like I said, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but there's definitely things that would say disturbed, but then he says that's not the right area. He says that's not the right area. I don't know where he's at. I don't know what he's doing. It's not the right area. But if he doesn't actually know where he is in relation to the water, I'm not sure he would know if it's the right area. Right here. You see toes right there. I can see that, but there's also things that kind of will play tricks on you. So I hate to ever just say like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Liggett doesn't look cold. No, he's doing good. So it's intriguing. It's intriguing. So there is the other photo of Tony Liggett here. This one's not as clear, but he is over here looking, and he's looking that way. So the crime scene is still up and to the left. Up and to the left. And he could just be wrong. Yeah, because he's not able to actually figure out the exact location of what's happening right there and like who that is or where he is in relation to anything. It could be very confusing. The other thing is, if David Erskin was only on only up here and he wasn't actually down here, none of this would look familiar to him. You know what I mean? Like cloudy. This would be what's in the forefront, the foreground. So when you see like kind of weird things like that, there could be stuff that's on his camera or stuff that's closer to him. And as he's zooming in over there, there's also like this kind of just looks blurry from the dirt. I don't know. I'm not a picture expert, so don't count on me for that. I do try. I play around with it, but I'm not the expert on it. If anything is possible. Yeah, but he says no tire tracks. That's one of the things he says. Hi, Polygraph. It's the same spot basically as the last picture. You can see, let me see the best way to compare it. No. This right here is this right here. This is him walking over there, and then this is him looking down. But what he's looking at, if you see, he's looking over here. So what is he looking at? Is it important? Your guess, good as mine. So yeah, you can see that that's that spot. There are definite paths once people were out there on ATVs. It's hard to differentiate who is. Eric was on the 13th, according to early rumors. Oh, he was on an ATV? Okay, so that would be, Eric would be David Erskin's dad, just FYI, Anna's stepdad. He said he never even knew about the bridge till the 13th. Yeah, never knew about the bridge. So I believe that the shoe that the searcher's calling up to Kelsey about is the same shoe that's in the creek. I think that is the same person. Let me show you on the map. See if it'll load. Give it a second. Okay. So this is the area, and I don't have it on where you can see the terrain, but this is a hill right here. And on the side of this hill, do I have that photo handy? On the side of this hill is where the police cars are parked. So they can see this. This is the drive. I'll give you some idea where you are. Down the bridge, you go down the hill. There's the driveway. This will be important actually for the next thing that David talks about anyway. You go down here. There's police cars that are kind of parked up on this hill right in here. And Kelsey says that's where she was at. She was standing here, and somebody down here, which this is the Weber side. This is like the Weber beach. It's kind of like a little beachy area. It's sand. So she says that somebody from down here, doesn't know exactly where they were, screamed up and said like, hey, do you know what shoes what shoes the girls were wearing? This has changed because at first she says, that she knew that Abby was wearing Converse, not sure what Libby was wearing, but then she knew it was her sister's shoe. She knew that the clothes belonged to her sister, is what she essentially states. Now, if where I do not know this for a fact. I need you guys to know that. This is just kind of where I'm at, because I've been trying to piece together these damn searchers. If Jake Johns is standing down here, and Jake Johns zooms in and he sees the clothes in the creek over here, or he sees the clothes even right here in the creek, somewhere, anywhere in this area, anywhere in here, I don't know. You guys are gonna have to go with me on this because I'm gonna go back and forth on where they were. He zooms in and he looks up, and the girls are there. That's where David is. David's here. So he's yelling up, hey, I see clothes. This would be private drive is where they are, essentially, where like Kelsey is. So does the private drive come into play and become like a shoe, because this is where Kelsey is by the private drive when somebody's asking her about the shoe and they found a shoe? Do you see what I'm saying? Oh, goodness. Yes, it was. It was Jay Keener that took the photos of Liggett. Yes. Put the two pictures up again side by side. Okay, I will. Give me a second. Yep, and ask for, they want more evidence bags. Hi, Tornado. Oh, it looked like a heart shape. So that's my thought on the shoes. I think the original shoe that was found and is talked about being by the private drive or in this area is the same shoe that's found over here that the photo is taken of. I think that is one shoe. I think that is one shoe. I don't obviously know. I'm just telling you what I think. And then the other shoe is found under Abby at the crime scene. That's where I'm at with it. Ooh, a river otter slide. I wonder if they have any, because it's a creek, but I mean, that doesn't mean they couldn't have something there. JKK's photos were taken from the bridge. That's a great question. People have said that he was in a couple different spots. but he was probably taken. He was probably up by the bridge. I don't think that he was a photographer. He had some pretty fancy equipment. I think he was down on the private drive. That's what I think. He also could have been up here on the bridge and taken, I don't know. It was pretty bare out there, you have to remember. That's why I was like, I wonder if they do have otters out there. Any of you guys that are from around there, do you guys have otters? I'd love to know the answer to that. Oh, hold on. 4 Pits. Eric Williams is cousin to Travis Williams, friends with Kyle Stacy and Gabe Ellis. And Kyle Stacy is an Odinist. Practices Odinism. 4 Pits, you're killing me. I don't think that J. Kyle Keener's ever given an interview. He had posted some pictures on his Facebook, according to the rumor mill, and they were pretty graphic, apparently, that you could see the crime scene in the background. There's no way that's those photos. You cannot see the crime scene in the background there. It's not that right area. But I don't know. I've never seen the picture, but supposedly that's the rumor. Is he posted the crime scene pictures, and or it wasn't a crime scene picture. It was a photo, and in the background you could see the crime scene. And then he got in trouble, and he ended up retiring it or getting fired or whatever you want to call it. He does a great video on describing the 3 shoes. I think I watched that. Yeah. Alan's true height has been confirmed. He is 5'5". Yes. Ooh, ETS. Can I show that? Let me find that real quick. That's just a total side note. See, you guys get me going on these other. I go off on a different tangent. We'll get back over here. We'll get back on track. It is. It's confirmed that he is 5'5". So the whole 5'4" to 5'6", I mean, works out. It is. He's 5'5". Confirmed. Hold on. Let me get rid of that real quick. It doesn't want to go up because the map is there. It wants to try to make me put it in the map. Okay, EW is a guy who was interviewed about his efforts during the search. Yeah, he was interviewed a couple of times, and he was out there on the night of the 13th searching with Carrie's brother. Oh, beavers. Yeah, that's a good one. Otters are the best. Erskin wouldn't know him. He's a friend of Carrie's brother, yeah. No, she had left the bridge. She said she was over on the private drive. That's what she says on Great Hughes anyway. Yeah, friends are friends. It's a small town. Ooh, muskrats. More muskrats than otters, but I get it. You can see the trail from the hole to the creek. You can see the trail going from hole to creek edge, going under limb at creek's edge. Okay, I'm going to bring those back up. Eric Alter accused Brumbaugh. I heard EW, brother friend on Ruckus. Yeah, there's an interview on there. He says he didn't. He says he didn't know him. Hold on. Pretty sure Eric and Travis are brothers. Cousins, I think. Sleuthy Goosey coming with the eyeballs. Paying attention. Hi, Marv. Welcome. It's like CO, so I'd say it sounds like Colorado, maybe others. I'm trying to get back down. Okay. News people listen to the police scanner and just show up at the scene like the movie Knight Rider. Or Miami Vice. Can't forget that. Hey, Trina. Okay, so FYI, new prison actually puts in height and weight for their inmates. So we have it confirmed. Richard Allen is 5'5" and weighs currently 178 pounds. So, in case you were interested, there it is. Now let me go back and put the other pictures back up. We'll put them side by side. You right here, maybe? Stop it. Over here. Ooh, I see it. I see it right here. Right there. From in here, down. If you're documenting the search, you were in fact taking pics of the crime scene though, right? So the police were down with that. I don't think that he was just documenting. Yeah, he wasn't supposed to be posting any pics of the crime scene. But I don't even know if he did. I've never seen the picture. That's just what I've heard. Erskin says anybody he doesn't know her. Yep. I've never seen it, Nancy. But I know if anybody can find it, it would be you. You or Grace. Oh yeah, I could totally see it. Now that I'm looking at that, I could totally see that. A little slide down. That'd probably be fun. There's another little hole in here too. Yeah, he's a Virgo. Okay, you guys wanted them side by side though. Somebody asked for that. I don't remember which one of you guys wanted it side by side, but I'll do it real quick. Then we'll get back over here to the. Oh shoot! Hey, get back up. That's not what I wanted. Okay, here we go. Okay. So this area is this area. I'll get it. Hi, Trina. Could vary by almost an inch. Yeah, but still, the 5'4" to 5'6" is pretty damn accurate. Okay. Does it look like a heart shape? Oh, like right here? It's just some guy in a blue shirt. That was my favorite. That was my favorite thing he said. Just some guy in a blue shirt. I don't know who that guy is. I don't see the heart. Unless it's right here. Or is it on this one? Mm-mm. Oh yeah. Lots of fun little river critters. This was the most interesting one to me, was right here. But I can't. It's so hard to tell without, with it being like two-dimensional like that. Is it an imprint of anything? I don't know. Is that a shadow of something? I don't know. The edges of the disturbed area. Yeah, I don't see it. So weird. I did. I said happy birthday to Bob this morning, like first thing when I woke up, like stalker style. I was like, Bob, it's your birthday. The small photo. The only thing I could see that kind of resembles a heart here, or do you mean like the whole thing? Oh, like oh, I got you. Right here. Right there. Big heart. I got it. I see what you're talking about. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Took me a minute, but I got there. Mother of Dragons, thank you so much for the super sticker. This is Liggett. Right here. Okay, Jen, go get the tinfoil hat. I'll be here. Yeah, it's Liggett. You guys are probably trying to show me where the heart was. Nope, dog's going crazy. Oh, Lynn. So there's a cave out there. I was just looking at it. There is an actual cave. Yeah, it goes, oh gosh, the Wilson Cave, I think it was what it was. Let me look it up real quick. Yeah, Wilson's Cave in Delphi. There's an actual cave out there. Look up Wilson's Cave on Deer Creek in Delphi. That's how easily distracted I am that I'll just start talking about all the caves and stuff. So yes, so make sure you go look up Wilson's Cave on Deer Creek in Delphi. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. My dog jumped a foot at hearing your dog bark. Yeah, and she sounds so vicious. Hey, what the? I'm a bit behind, T, but you make me think. As far as visual implications, maybe closed, but maybe there where a canoe was pulled up the shore from the creek. Oh, I just don't know. I mean, I can only tell you what he says it's not. Yeah, here we go. Go find the cave. But it is there. It is there. If that was the mark of someone sliding down or pulling themselves up, that skinny tree long stick probably would have been pushed out of the way, in my opinion. Unless it's still rooted into the ground over here. That would be the only thing. Because I know that sometimes the reason that they don't actually wash away or go down is because they still have some type of root in there. It's underwater that time of year. That's right. You don't get me going all crazy on caves and stuff. Wilson's Cave on Deer Creek, Delphi. But I don't know exactly where it takes you. I haven't pathed it out yet. But it's just interesting because I was thinking the same. I was like, where the heck are all the caves? Yeah, if it's rooted, you can use it to. You can use it to climb around on. I appreciate it, Kate, very much. Salty Sweet Tea, what's up? It's more like a slip between some huge bedrock. Could be. Hi, Humanimal. It would be at Wilson's Bridge. People have explored it, I believe, for the case. Yeah, and I know there's older videos that just nothing to do with the case where people were out there just going through. I'd be a little scared to go in there by myself. But like there's older videos where people were just like going and looking at the cave and doing stuff. The cave has tree roots and shit around it, right? Yeah, okay. I can't stay on the cave, you guys. You're gonna get me all over by the cave. Okay, so where was I? Okay, so David talks about that. He tries to describe the location of what he's talking about, but the problem is it's the same location. So he says you cross the bridge, you go down the hill, there's a driveway, and then there's the water, and the water does a horseshoe. See, look at that. You do see a muskrat hole. Well, let me pull this back up over here so that we can talk about this. So he talks about like that it's like a horseshoe. Well, this is tough because he doesn't really describe a specific spot. He doesn't say like, like we all talk about like, oh, you got like the leaning tree and you got this. He doesn't talk like that. So for him to I should mark on here exactly where like Liga was standing. But so he says you go off the bridge, you go down the hill, you go over the driveway, and then the water does like a horseshoe. And that's where he says it is. That's the spot that he says it's at. That whatever you could see, whatever visible implication he refers to it as, is that's where it is. Down the hill, at the horseshoe in the water. So take it for what you want because he doesn't describe exactly where it is. Hi, Swifty. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for being here. The McCain's corn crib, whatever that is. Yes, watch caving and no. See, you guys are gonna get me back into the cave. Okay, so he says that whatever this visible implication is, that's not where Tony Liggett is supposedly standing, but I'm not 100% sure because he doesn't really recognize that spot. So could it be? Maybe, maybe not. The horseshoe is around that little sandbank. Is he talking about the horseshoe of water that surrounds the sandbar? Yes. That's what I think he's talking about. He doesn't clarify, but that's what I think he's talking about. Yes. But that's still the same general vicinity, but he's saying that's not that where Liggett was standing is not where the visible implication. I'm trying to just use the same words. The visible implication is. But I don't know if he's just confused on where Liggett is standing. So he says whatever this visible implication is, that's not deer, not tire tracks, not drag marks. What else was it not? Yeah, it was not footprints, no deer, no footprints, not drag marks, not tire marks. Does that mean that none of those things exist anywhere? No, that is not what that means. What he's saying is what led him to the discovery of the bodies was not those things. That's what led him to discover the bodies. So make sure that it is that we're clear on that. That doesn't mean that the whole scene did not have any of that. Okay. So he comes upon the bodies. He says he stays approximately 20 feet away from the bodies. He does not go up to them. Now this is interesting because if you guys remember, there was coordinates that were put into I think it's Ron Logan's search warrant, and those are not actually the coordinates of where the bodies were actually located. So he makes a comment that he uses his, remember, he's a volunteer firefighter, so he makes the comment that he uses his work-issued radio to call 911 essentially to tell them that they found the bodies and to have somebody to come out there to secure the scene. He says that the first officers that come out there are Yoder and Kingery. So Spencer Kingery is Nick McClellan's almost brother-in-law, or almost ex-brother-in-law, because he didn't marry. Nick never married his baby mama. That's her brother, is Spencer Kingery. Spencer Kingery is a canine officer for Carroll County, and he had a dog named Grim at the time. On his social media, he posts a workout for Odin, who I assume is a dog, but I never see the dog anywhere again. Yes, he was. Yeah, he had his dog Grim. Calls 911. Yeah, calls 911 through the radio. That's what he says. I'm trying to just tell you guys exactly what he says. Let me see. I think it might have been blood. I've thought that it's something, or maybe it is just the clothes, but he doesn't want to say that it is. He was saying that he was first on the scene. He was saying he was the first one that found them. Is he really? Is that? I don't know. Man, it's so crazy. That would not surprise me. I don't know that though. But I don't know. I'll write it down to check it. Spencer? Are we talking about the same one? I'll write it down. It's just obviously small town. People all know each other. Everything is connected. Canine Grim seemed to be pretty badass. I'll say that. And so yeah, Spencer is obviously a very good trainer. And now Yoder, who I don't think was a dog trainer at the time, I don't think he was a canine officer at the time, but I could be wrong. He is now also a canine officer though. So remember when they say like that there was no dogs out there? Well, there was dogs out there. It just wasn't the elite trained search dogs that were coming in from Illinois. It was the Carroll County dogs, or at least a dog, who I believe is the one when we look at the pictures. I have that. When we look at the pictures of the searches, I think it's Grimm. It very well could be Grimm. You can't tell, but I think it very well could be Grimm. Let me get rid of that. Call it the family wreath. It's a family wreath. Eric Williams is a friend of Carrie's, Libby's mom. Erskin, don't know him, I guess. Right. Well, yeah, because he was there with his. He said like he's friends with Carrie's brother, Joe. Yeah, Black Shepherd. Okay, so he says he calls in, and then Yoder and Kingery are the first ones that come. The reason that I think that that's interesting is because if you remember in the text from 2017, he says it was Ginacoa, or I don't know if I'm saying that right, but Ginacola. He says it was Yoder and Ginacoa, however you say it. But now it's in this conversation, he says it was Yoder and Kingery that actually came to secure the scene. Frank asked him if he's actually the one that took the photos of the clothing in the creek. He says no, that it was not him. Or no, he says, I'm not going to answer that. That's what he didn't say. No, he says, I'm not going to answer that. He says no to something else. He says, I'm not going to answer that. So he's not going to say whether he took the photos or not. There's most speculation at this point is that he didn't take the photos, but that he is the one who gave the photos to Chris Todd. Now, there's been some commentary about whether he sold them or not. And I was wondering if anybody here would be able to answer this for me. If he didn't take the photos himself, can he sell them or no? I don't know how that would work with like a copyright. I know that's kind of dumb. I don't mean to say like but I'm just saying like legally, could he actually sell them legally? That's what I said, Shelly. I'm just wanted to tell you that's what he said. He used his radio from his fire radio that was work issued, and he contacted the 911 dispatch. Erskin was first to find them. What about the husband that was in the search group, whose wife was with Becky Patty, who called them to say they found them, and also Pat Brown? Were they all in the same group or what? Kay, your question is as good as mine. David, I don't know why I cannot get his name. That's why I call him Erskin. Erskin says he was alone. He was by himself. Amy and Ella weren't far, which totally makes sense to me because in the text messages he says that it was him and his other sister's brother-in-law. So Ella has to be right there in this area. I mean, it's obviously it's a good sized area, but it's not ginormous. I mean, they're all going to be right in that vicinity. Now, Becky Patty also states, let me see if I can pull them up real quick. She states that her sister was out there. So then I don't know who her sister was searching with. If her sister was searching with Pat Brown. I was going to see if I could find that for you. Okay, you guys do think that he could sell him? There would need to be a conflicting kind of ownership. I think anyone could sell him. He meant dispatch. I think he probably did absolutely meant dispatch. Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, I guess if they're not used, I mean, Chris Todd didn't use them in the book. Does it matter if he buys them? I don't know. All right, let's go back over here real quick. Where was I? I was going to go over here and show you guys some. Oh, Becky Patty's. The comment about the sister. So this is Becky Patty. My sister was searching with him. I don't know if it was an official group, but Derek was in an official group, and he ran into my sister. They talked for a bit, then Derek started back to his group. My sister walked over the ravine and saw them. Yeah, I couldn't find him at this total side conversation, so sorry, bear with it. Yeah, I could not find him owning a dog named Odin, but he does have a workout for Odin. So I'm like, I don't know. It's just interesting. Yeah, and look up Grim. I mean, okay, fine. I'll remove the comment from the screen so you can see better. So she says, I'm sorry your sister had to see that. To your knowledge, did Pat see the girls also? So then this is the other thing. So then this is where, so Becky Patty's saying like, the guy who's searching calls the wife who's with Becky. That's all happening. And then the sister comes running up to her saying, I'm so sorry. I was just giving you a hard time. Ello is, would be Abby's uncle by marriage, her aunt's husband. I've heard that. I have no idea if that's true. Everybody says they have gone to the hospital. Okay, so I'm going to back up again, because now you also have this lady who was on social media saying that it's been an emotional 2 days. I tried to go to work today, but driving down the road and tearing up, I knew I just couldn't do it today, thinking how my friend Anna Williams and her family and the family of Liberty must feel right now. It's gut-wrenching, tears me up inside. The community has felt such a great loss. We were all scared and shook up. Has anyone heard of counseling services for adults? I mean, I saw those 2 girls' bodies. The cops did not offer me and the other 2 with me any help. I know they were not my children, but I feel like something broke in me when I saw them. I'll never forget. Right. Did she? Because I thought it was... No, I think her sister ran up to her. I think. Well, I'm putting together all the interviews too, so we'll have all that. We can go through and see exactly what stays the same and what's different. He has insinuated that he has crime scene photos. Absolutely, Chris Todd. He absolutely has insinuated he has crime scene photos. Then I tell you guys, there were content creators back in January of 2023 that were making comments that crime scene photos of the girls were about to be released. Back in January. Okay, so let me finish this up because I think we're almost done with it. So he tells them that he gives them the coordinates to his location, which somebody was asking about why I said something about the coordinates. The coordinates were 20 feet. He gave him the coordinates to his position, probably because he's standing there. He can actually see his own coordinates, which kind of made sense that maybe that's why there was the little bit that has been off for all the years about where the crime scene actually was versus where the coordinates were. I'm totally speculating that. That is not a fact. He won't say if he's the one who took the photos or not. As soon as Yoder and Kingery got to the scene, he left, and he left the scene immediately. He left the area immediately. He bounced. He did not want to be around there anymore. He completely left. And then Frank is asking him about that Becky got the phone call at 11:30 and that Ello took the photo at 11:13. I still don't have proof that Ello took the photos, so make sure you guys also know that that's speculation. It's hearsay, actually, more so. And that he was alone, but Amy and Ello, it kind of cuts off right there. He's like, Amy and Ello they had to be right in that area if Ello's taking the photo of the clothes, because that's my thought, is that you have John Jakes, Sleuthy, you have Jake John, whatever. I always get that guy's name mixed up too. You have him. He's looking through. He sees the clothes. Then you have Ello comes and takes a photo of the clothes, And then that leads over and is a visual implication that leads them to looking right in that area up the hill from the clothes and finds the girls. Maybe that's it. Maybe. And that's how he finds them. Okay, let me go and see if this clip came through. I don't have it yet. So he left the scene immediately, and then so they're talking about like the timing, and he says, "I don't know the exact time." He says, "I don't know the exact time, but it was earlier than that. It was like 9:45 to 10:30. 9:45 to 10:30. Now, is he just off with his time? I don't know. Obviously, a very traumatic day for this guy. I don't want to hold him to it and burn him at the stake if he's wrong, because the metadata on those photos says 11:13. But then is there something weird about the time where it should have been transferred into standard? I don't know. Let's see. I call him John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt because his name is my name too. Whenever I go out, the people all about. There goes John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. Todd would show a blurred image of some clothes and a shoe and then keep saying he had more, but wouldn't show the bodies unalive, etc. So he didn't actually show, I think, either he gave them directly to Gavin Fish or there's a third party somewhere else in there. Who knows? God only knows. Because Gavin Fish is the first one that puts him out publicly with his watermark all over him. And then they leak onto social media. I am too, Chelsea. I am too. But he says that he went in and was interviewed. He says that he went in and was interviewed. He says like 72 hours of interrogation. And he says that it probably wasn't 72 hours. But I can tell because I'm somebody who is like, I exaggerate like numbers. I'll be like, yeah, it was like 50 years when it was like 5 years. I know I do that myself. And then like my friend Jen Lou's always like, if you're going to exaggerate numbers, you have to do it where people know it's not legit. Like you have to go 50 bazillion or something, weird. Otherwise they think that you're just saying the wrong years. Anyway, so he says it's like 72 hours of interrogation. Says he doesn't really know if it was that much because it was numerous times on numerous occasions. He was polygraphed. He had a DNA test, all within 6 to 10 days of the crimes. He said that Mullins dumped both of his phones, so all the information that was on his phones, Mullen knows what it was. He's never had pics of the bodies to give to anybody. You can believe it, not believe it. I get it. When the info was leaked back in October, when it came out that the info was leaked in October, I should say, Delphi Police Department contacted him. I couldn't tell if he said the 15th or the 16th, but it really doesn't matter. It was October 15th or 16th. They wanted him to come into the station for questioning regarding the leaked images. And he said that he lives in Texas. He's not going into the Delphi Police Department to answer any questions. So then he said on 10/18 that ISP actually contacted him in regards to people leaking info. Now, this was important for me when somebody who's been trying to determine the situation behind these leaks. Why, if you look at the timeline of the leaks, the recent batch, if you look at the timeline, by October 15th and October 18th, they already knew where the photos came from. Right? Supposedly. They already knew where the photos came from. They already knew that Mitch Westerman had gone in and taken these photos back in August. This has all already been decided. Look at the timeline. Judge Gohl Already knows. Mitch Westerman contacts Baldwin on October 9th. Contacts Baldwin to tell him he took the photos with his cell phone while visiting the office. October 10th, Judge Gohl and all the attorneys have this phone conversation. The 11th, Richard Allen writes the letter to the judge. October 11th, we know what happened that day too. October 12th, McClellan emails them at 4 a.m. letting them know about him, about Fortson. October 12th, Gohl says, don't work on the case anymore. But that isn't the end of the story. Because apparently they still wanted information from David Erskin regarding the leaked information and photos. Now, why would they need to contact David Erskin about that if they already had the guy? He went to, Texas is huge, so I mean, he could go visit anybody. I have family in Texas, and I don't think they know Mark Cohen. Maybe I should ask. I don't see Todd paying money unless something in those photos proves where and when they were taken. It does. The metadata was included. The metadata is included here. So this is all the information. So this picture has these three. This picture has these three. This picture has these three. So it proves where and when they were taken. I don't know if it proves who took them. So this is when we have 11. This one's taken at 11:13 and 18 seconds. This one's taken at 11:13 and 27 seconds. And this one's taken at 11:13 and 42 seconds. All right, let me see if this video came through. Oh no, that's not the video. It just says grr. Let me see. Mark Robert Cohen is not some nice guy. He's connected somehow. Oh yeah, I absolutely agree with you, Digital. I'm on fire? Shit. Cool off. Do we know where Judge Gohl's husband was on that day? I'm not looking to alibi him. The math ain't mathin'. Looking for a plan B? Yeah, maybe. There are multiple sets of photos. That is exactly what I think. I think there are multiple sets of photos. I don't think that we're all looking at the same thing. Okay, I don't think that there is any way to determine those specific details until a trial happens. It's one of the elements that Ellie hasn't cleared up, and the rumors have been mixed up. Let me see what Kay said. I missed it. Maybe I did. Well, I'm just trying to determine if Erskin found them or not, because according to Becky Patty's statement, unless he was in the search group of the husband whose wife was with Becky Patty, couldn't have been Erskin. Well, this is KY, I think, and let me see. Oh, I was going to look and see if I have that one. Give me a second while I go through some Becky Patty ones. Okay, so here she's talking about Pat Brown was in the search party opposite side of the creek where the girls were found and spotted the girls because he saw 2 deer. This is not Becky Patty. This is somebody else talking. So it's technically he didn't stumble upon their bodies, so to speak, yet he's traumatized by what he saw and in counseling, ? Becky says, he isn't the one I was talking about, this deer. He was in the search party that was on the same side of the creek as the girls. No, he did not actually stumble over them. Person says, thanks for clarifying. It's difficult to follow these messages. Sometimes they jump all over. So this is where, okay, so that puts him there. Pat Brown, not the one who sees the deer. Ellie said that one of the girls said is the crew. Okay, that's a different part of this. That's why these are not in order. He was on the bridge. They crossed the creek. Also the mirror image there. That's okay. After a while, it did start going straight to up. Nope, not that one. Here, she says, it was not Pat Brown that made that call, and his wife was not with me. That's not that one. That's not that one. Okay, so the guy that found the girls was by himself when he actually found them. Pat Brown found them after he saw some deers, and he looked up, and there they was. he called his wife, and she was with Becky, and told them that he found them. She says, no, he was not alone. That's the beginning of that other conversation, by the way. My sister was searching with him. I don't know if it was an official group. So the sister's with Pat Brown. But Derek was on, I already read that one. Sorry, your sister had to see that. It was not Pat Brown that made that call, and his wife was not with me. I already did that one. Okay, so that's what I have so far. That Becky Patty's sister is with Pat Brown. I think it was Jake John's wife that was with, I think that's who was with Becky Patty. I don't know. Oh yeah, I haven't been able to add that in yet, Kay. This is what I got so far. She absolutely probably did. Okay, let me go back up. I think there are pics taken by civilians and crime scene taken by Ellie. Yep, I think so. Michelle Keene, Pat Brown, and David Erskin. She talks about the trauma counseling she has been getting since she came up on their bodies. Yeah. Yeah. But so she was with, so she's JC, so she's in the party with Michelle. So Michelle Keene, Pat Brown, and Becky's sister are all together. Those three are together because they do say that he's with two other people. So this is, once again, this is me just trying to put puzzle pieces together. I don't know for sure. Anyway, this leak thing shouldn't be period profit selling phooey. Not for that. I hope all the leaks get exposed. I truly do at this point. It's been endlessly annoying trying to decipher all the bullshit details going around. I couldn't agree with you more. I hope they all get exposed. I do think that there was definitely some change in looks, but I still, because from everything that I hear about this, you have one that's got the computer screen with the mouse, and you've got one that's got that looks like it's actually the photo. You've got one that's supposedly of a computer screen without a mouse, but there's 4 of them. So it seems to me that there might be, there's obviously some finagling going on as this is being sent around or from the original person. But as it's gotten out to, it's obviously not mass public, but as it's gotten, more dispersed, there was definitely some changes. Who are Cody Patty's biological parents? Well, let me tell you. Okay, Teresa, I did the best I could and still hasn't gone through. I sent link, timestamp instead, curious on you and everyone's thoughts. Okay, let me pull up Cody Patty. So Cody Patty's mom and or dad is Becky Patty's brother. Let me go through. That's also in here. So you can see Cody Patty's mom is Diane, and dad is Bert, and Bert is Becky's half-brother. Julie Melvin, who you saw in chat if you were here earlier, is Diane's sister. So she is the biological aunt of Cody Patty. There you go. Is BP's is BP's brother-in-law? Holy crap! I don't believe so. I don't have that in my family tree. If that's the way it is. Okay, so hold on. It was Ivan Brumbaugh, Jake Johns, and Michelle Keene. Okay, so they would have been on the other side then, right? I'm gonna write that down. You heard it was Ivan, Michelle Keene, and Jake Johns. Together. All right. The night my nephew was murdered, I didn't even tell you my name, let alone any details, after my sister crying on the phone saying, I need you. That's Diane. Diane is Julie's sister. The latest leak was all orchestrated to prolong trial and get rid of the defense team. Absolutely. I believe those pictures were not just sent out on October 3rd or whatever the narrative that's being pushed. I think that's a bunch of mumbo jumbo. And I'd say prove me wrong, but nobody tries to. Right? I agree with you. I don't think that you can't take everything. You can't take everything verbatim. I think that there are changes in stories that have happened that are interesting, but there are also ones that have a lot to do with trauma. And it could have easily been orchestrated by the defense to introduce the public to the Odinism crap. In fact, the last 3 leaks by the defense all involved Odinism. Well, they were all the same leak, supposedly. I think you're referring to the F tree, the girls, and the document, like the memorandum. Is that the 3 necessary evil? Because those are technically, from my understanding, are all part of the same leak. If you listen to what we're being told, that there was 20 attachments to this email. Doing mumbo jumbo as well. Yeah. The truth doesn't change. I agree with that, but I do think that there are things that become, especially, okay, so let's take like David Erskin's like idea or story, for example. He walks up to the scene, this is what he sees, and then he leaves. Now he has to try to encompass all of that information and submit it to memory. I could see if things don't always come out right. So if, like he says, like Abby was wearing the same clothes as she did on the bridge, that makes sense to me. He sees jeans, he sees a maroon shirt because it's supposedly sticking out, and he sees her Converse. He sees that Libby's nude, but then somebody made a great point. Like, how does he know about Libby's neck if he's 20 feet away? I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Okay, let me go back in here and see what we've got. I think that was essentially the end of it. I think he just starts asking Frank. He starts asking Frank about like if he thinks that Richard Allen's the guy, and that was like the main important pieces that I recall. Now let's see what we got here. Start at 39 minutes and listen for 45 seconds. Okay, 39 minutes.
Next here.
You guys can't hear this. You need to let me know. I haven't listened to this. I should listen to it. I still haven't. Let me get rid of this. Don't give up, Steve. Where are you going? Don't give up. Dimension. You're going to a different dimension? Oh, shit, this is going to be fun if I read it backwards, right? I give up. Dimension. Lies are for detention. This could be a good rock or like song.
The bodies, because that's a felony. Just
I'll get back up just a minute so we can get some context.
It's out there. Will I get it? Maybe. I don't know. Well,
You guys hear it okay? I did. I read it backwards. You guys, can you hear it? No sound? It's paused right now, so there's no sound. But did you hear it? Quiet. Dun, 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 dun. I like Greg's hair. Okay.
and I have some very interesting information to put up with that. And if we want to talk about the crime scene photos, is that what you're saying that people are going to ask us about, Rick?
Yeah, they've already been asking me about it.
Court TV. Let's say this. We appreciate Court TV. Awesome. Love Vinnie Politan. big fan of his for many years. They wouldn't let us put them up.
I kind of thought
If we
so.
want to rock and roll right now,
I'd be interested to know what you know.
Well, no, I'm just saying I'll start showing it.
Yeah.
It's up to you. We want to drop a bombshell? You want me to start showing stuff out of my phone?
Well, what do we have? Do we have? I mean, I'm not sure anybody wants to see the bodies.
I don't have the
Yeah.
bodies. I have to be transparent. I do not have the bodies, but I will say this, and the girl put up a thing and said she liked one of my books. Thank you, darling. Appreciate it. But I, to bring some Chris Todd to this, I've put out a request for the bodies, a picture.
Mm-hmm.
It's out there. Will I get it? Maybe. I don't know. Well, I didn't think I was going to get the clothes in the creek either. And now I have 3 photos of that.
Well, the warning that I have about that is nude girl.
Holy shit. Okay, so he says he does not have the bodies. That's interesting. Thank you, Sleuthy, for sending this. I know I know this live is there, and I know I keep telling myself I need to go. Won't post my comments now. It was actually leaked somewhat because there was like 7 people who were commenting that it was coming out, including creators, were commenting that that memorandum was coming before it was ever filed. So I think the leak part was the information that it contained and that it was on its way. People in Facebook groups, YouTube creators were posting about it beginning of September. So I don't think the document itself was necessarily leaked. Maybe some pages of it. That's where I'm at with it. I cannot prove that the pages were actually leaked or just the information. But people knew the information. I have so many screenshots that talk about these creators talking about that document coming out long before it was ever dropped. So that's the leaky part that I mean. I'll post your comments, Kay. I'm just not paying attention. Yeah, he's implying that he put a request in for the closed picture. He's implying that he's now he's now trying to get the pictures of the bodies. I'll have to pull these all in the pieces and just see what lines up. And we'll see. Matt Sullivan was on here, yeah. Matt Sullivan, Jason Jensen. Oh, Night Marv, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. That one I think I have watched, and I definitely believe he insinuates it in that one. It gets better? Oh, shit. Okay. Well done.
Girls, even dead, is still child pornography. Possessing that image.
Well,
would
I'll
be,
blur it out.
Well, even.
For fuck's sake. You gotta be kidding me. Ah, Jesus. Okay. I'm gonna keep going.
Well, you getting it would be a crime.
Well,
Maybe.
crimes. Well, no,
They're children. No, they're children. Dead children is children. New children is a crime.
Well, what
True,
if they're given
true.
to me? Whistleblower.
One thing I want to comment on a few.
So
few
wait, do you
things
guys not want me to get pictures of the bodies? What's up?
I mean, that's.
I don't think anyone took pictures of the bodies because that's a felony. Just to take the pictures of the body is a felony.
But ready? Let me tell you the rumor that I'm getting too. So let me ask the panel this. Who found the bodies? Police or civilians? Just give me the 1-word answer.
Civilians.
Right. And how many people are in the search party? Over 30. I have some of their names. So right now it's taking a long time for me. I didn't even know crime scene photos existed, right? Okay. And I blurred them out. I have the clean version and a blurred version.
Wait,
They're
what?
sad. They're going to be disturbing.
Wait, what? Did he just change it to say that he has them? Absolutely, it's a perfect analogy. Yes. He just changed it to say he has them. I'm rewinding it.
A picture. It's out there. Will I get it? Maybe Logan washes them down with orange cleaner and creek water.
Oh, shit.
Hence why they're found wet.
Where the hell did I go?
New children.
Well, what do we have? Do we have? I mean, I'm not sure anybody wants to see the bodies.
I don't have the
Yeah.
bodies. I have to be transparent. I do not have the bodies. But I will say this, and the girl put up a thing and said she liked one of my books. Thank you, darling. Appreciate it. But to bring some Chris Todd to this, I've put out a request for the bodies, a picture. It's out there. Will I get it? Maybe. I don't know. Well, I didn't think I was going to get the clothes in the creek either. And now I have 3 photos of that.
Well, the warning that I have about that is nude girls, even dead, is still child pornography. Possessing that image.
Well, I'll blur it out.
Well, you getting it would be a crime.
Well,
Maybe.
crimes. Well, no, let's
They're
do
children.
this.
No, they're
Let's
children.
do this.
Dead children is children. New children is a crime.
Well, what
True,
if they're given
true.
to me? Whistleblower.
One thing I want to comment on a few.
So
few
wait, do you
things
guys not want me to get pictures of the bodies? What's up?
I mean,
I
that's
don't think anyone took pictures of the bodies because that's a felony. Just to take the pictures of the body is a felony.
But ready? Let me tell you the rumor that I'm getting too. So let me ask the panel this. Who found the bodies? Police or civilians? Just give me the one word answer.
Civilians.
Right. And how many people are in the search party? Over 30. I have some of their names. So right now it's taken a long time for me. I didn't even know crime scene photos existed, right? Okay. And I blurred them out. I have the clean version and a blurred version. They're sad. They're going to be disturbing. They are. Like, it's going to be emotional. But I'm just saying, I don't know. Part of me just says, I want to see everything I can see, because if we don't trust ISP in Carroll County and we're trying to blow the lid off this thing, and even some of these people have told me, some of these sources from the search party have even said, I want to help solve the case. That's like the mentality. Is like, they're upset, they're angry. But anyway,
what is the county afraid of? Ultimately, what is the county afraid of that they can't be transparent with the public?
Well, look at that PC. Look at the way this whole thing has gone. The Kegan Klein thing, Tony Klein, all that. We haven't heard their name too much lately, huh? No one even knew Rick Allen's name at all. And see, when we went on Court TV last night, and we were trying to be cordial, and I didn't want to go too off the rails with them. Okay, I was there to talk about Ron Logan. Jason helped me with this too. Our book talks about Ron Logan. The Richard Allen thing, I'm like a baby to it, like you guys are too. Did you ever hear Richard Allen's name for 5 years? Nope. No one did.
Yeah. I'm my only thing right now is that what I'm worried about is if it would be a violation of YouTube's terms. That's the only thing I worry
You
about.
want me to pop off some crime?
I don't want to upset the families either. I really don't. But
Okay.
I want to see things. I want to know what's up. But
why don't we wait, Chris? You and I will get together.
Jason said I have to do zingers. So I don't know. This might be it. Maybe I just don't turn me off. Don't turn me off. Hold on. Let me just look at it.
But I wanted to say to answer what I've been seeing in the chat, in some places in the chat, if you have an issue.
What did he just show? Do I even want to know? Why can't I get it to stop right there? It's like in that little second. Son of a Biscuit eating bulldog. 15 minutes of fame is ugly. I'm kind of at the point that I think I'm just going to email him and see if he wants to come on. I'll just ask him. You think he showed the clothes? Because I can't tell. He keeps going back and forth. I'll just ask him. He's the one thing he doesn't seem like is that he's gonna like blow smoke up my ass. He seems like he's just gonna tell people. He showed the clothes? Okay. I can't tell because he talks about that he has a clean version. Where was that comment? This is the part that gets me about the crime scene photos.
I have some of their names. So
Right here.
right now, it's taken a long time for me. I didn't even know crime scene photos existed, right? Okay. And I blurred them out. I have the clean version and a blurred version.
Is he talking like hypothetically? Like, okay, I didn't know they existed. Now I have them, and I have a clean version and I have a blurred version. Clean version about the clothes, but what's the blurred version about the clothes? There's nothing blurry. And you wouldn't have to censor the clothing pics. I think he's saying if he gets them, he'd have two versions. That's what I'm wondering. Gavin Fish says that he blurred the shadow to try to distort it so people didn't try to figure out who took the photo. So on his website, Gavin Fish says he's the one that blurred the shadow. It's intentional. And he only had the clothing at that point. So he's saying, like, because he's put this request out into the world, that he now has these. He does. He says this is going to be disturbing. I'm going to go back just a tiny bit again. I'm going to do it one more time.
Felony, just to take the pictures of the body is a felony.
But ready? Let me tell you the rumor that I'm getting too. So let me ask the panel this. Who found the bodies? Police or civilians? Just give me the one word answer.
Civilians.
Right. And how many people are in the search party? Over 30. I have some of their names. So right now, it's taken a long time for me. I didn't even know crime scene photos existed, right? Okay. And I blurred them out. I have the clean version and a blurred version. They're sad. They're going to be disturbing. They are. Like, it's going to be emotional. But I'm just saying, I don't know. Part of me just says, I want to see everything I can see, because if we don't trust ISP in Carroll County and we're trying to blow the lid off this thing, and even some of these people have told me, some of these sources from the search party have even said, I want to help solve the case. That's like the mentality. It's like, they're upset. They're angry. But anyway,
what is the county afraid of? Ultimately, what is the county afraid of that they can't be transparent with the public?
Well, look at that PC. Look at the way this whole thing has gone. The Kegan Klein thing, Tony Klein, all that. We haven't heard their name too much lately, huh? No one even knew Rick Allen's name at all. And see, when we went on Court TV last night, and we were trying to be cordial, and I didn't want to go too off the rails with them. Okay, I was there to talk about Ron Logan. Jason helped me with this too. Our book talks about Ron Logan. The Richard Allen thing, I'm like a baby to it, like you guys are too. Did you ever hear Richard Allen's name for 5 years? Nope. No one did.
Yeah. I'm my only thing right now is that what I'm worried about is if it would be a violation of YouTube's terms. That's the only thing I worry about.
You want me to pop off some crime?
I don't want to upset the families either. I really don't. But
Okay.
I want to see things. I want to know what's up. But
why don't we wait, Chris? You and I will get together.
Jason said I have to do zingers, so I don't know. This might be it. Maybe I just don't turn me off. Don't turn me off. Hold on. Let me just look at it.
But I wanted to say to answer what I've been seeing in the chat, in some places in the chat, If you have an issue with sources not being revealed on this channel, then don't watch this channel. I'm not going to give you sources that I have been protecting for 8 months, that Matt, that Chris, that Jason has been protecting all along. I'm not just going to sit here and throw them out to you just to make, just to see, so you can say, well, give me your sources, or I'm, we don't do that here. I don't reveal my sources.
Do you want me to show one picture or no? Blurred. It's blurred.
In other words, the articles of clothing are blurred out.
Yes.
So it just shows like the creek with like a pixelated shoe.
Do you want me to just show it or no?
That one sounds tame. Yeah. I think we could probably.
Oh, that doesn't come across very well.
Hold on. Just wait.
Okay, so he did
See
blur.
the blurred white part?
Right. Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
He blurred the shoe?
That's one of Libby's shoes.
That's the one that was found embedded in the.
So I'm keeping it PG. That's a sneaker.
Yeah.
And,
Very interesting.
We have the other sneaker too, and I'll say what they are because some people already know.
Yeah, and so basically, what the value of this is that the fact that some articles of clothing were in the water, whereas others were not, means that somebody after the murder took the time to partially dress one of the victims, and you have to ask yourself, well, why? One was found completely naked, and the other one's wearing the other one's clothing. Why? That really sounds disturbing. Sounds like something a psychologist really needs to dive into.
Like Silence of the Lambs stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
One was treated like garbage while the other one was treated like the friend next door. And you have to ask yourself, well, why? And I think most criminologists would say that the offender knew the one that he dressed because he didn't want to see her in a disrespected, state found by others, where the one that he had no relationship with, no understanding, and did treat her like, a piece of garbage. Didn't matter what searchers would find about her condition.
And they also said from a couple sources, like a friend of a friend had a conversation with me very recently and said when they found the bodies, there were a few people there. There was more than one person. They are disturbed to this day. And one of the people, the friend goes, they wake up seeing the bodies at night in their dreams, like they turn over and they see the bodies. So I pray for these people. Like this is, and that's why we have to, if Richard Allen did it, frag him. Ron Logan's gone. We're going to damn him anyway. We're going to make him pay. I don't care if he's dead or not.
Yeah. I think with what a lot of people aren't understanding is with the totality of everything that was done, I don't see how one person accomplishes that in the time frame that was given.
Okay, now they're moving on to something else. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that whole thing. It's on my to-do list. I just haven't done it. And thank you, Sleuthy, for finding that part because it's very interesting. But once again, I feel he does this weird, like implying that he has things that he might not have, or that he's trying. I cannot sit here and say that I think that Chris Todd had the photos at this time. Could he have? Yes. But he does like a weird, I'm requesting for them, and then I have these that are blocked out, but then he actually shows the shoe that he blocks out. I don't know. I'm going to go back and listen to the whole thing just for some more context, and then maybe. Hi, Mandy. If you find a dead body before Elliot, it's probably a good idea to take a pic, no matter what age or circumstance. You can watch them all texting each other. They're like shit, except for Matt. Matt's like, I'm not even going to be on camera. This is bullshit. I don't even want. What am I doing here? I know what you guys are saying. I don't know. Maybe we should just ask Rick. See if well, he says he got I mean, according to his timeline, he got him the 4th, and then it changed to the 5th. Hi Watha. So in the live I did where I review Chris Todd's book, it does talk about that they received these letters from law enforcement agents that were upset. Like then they refer to them as whistleblowers that were upset about the way the investigation had gone, and that they believed that Ron Logan was the guy, or that somebody else was the guy, and the person that was arrested, being Richard Allen, was not the right guy. And so they were looking for ways to get this out to the world. And so Jason Jensen had gone on court TV, and he had named Ron Logan. So these whistleblowers contacted Jason Jensen and were telling him and giving him information. And in that information, because I was wondering that was one of the things I had been trying to figure out, is who knew about the clothing switch, any clothing switch. And it is talked about in Chris Todd's book that the whistleblowers did tell them that and we knew about the Libby being nude and Abby being clothed back from 2017 with David Erskin's original text messages. But the whistleblowers do say to Jason Jensen that Abby was wearing Libby's sweatshirt, at least. Let me see. Jason Jensen just said he knew. He slips here, and he has the photos. It will come out because he cannot wait to show them. He states, I have the clean and blurred version. Then he rewatches this. He will know he slipped. Here's the thing. One thing, I don't think Chris Todd cares if people knew he had the photos. I don't think that he cares. I don't think that he is worried about that. I think that if he had the photos, he wants people to know he had the photos. I agree. I think he absolutely does know more, but I don't think anybody's given him an opportunity to say anything. He keeps getting shut down everywhere he goes. So, yeah. I know, Sleuth. I know. I could see that but he likes to have the info. He's also somebody who wants to be in the know. It's so frustrating. I don't know. Well, was it Ashley Banfield? ATS, are you still here? Was it Ashley Banfield that we were talking about who makes the comment when she's talking to Murder Sheet? ATS, where are you? Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was Angela. It was somebody. Somebody asked him, and ATS and I had this conversation. Now I can't remember which news organization it was. It was a female who is talking to, I believe they're talking to Murder Sheet, and they're talking about the crime scene photos. This is after this October 4th shenanigans. They're talking about those crime scene photos, and Ashley Banfield, I'm almost positive it's her, but I hate to say it if it's not, says, yeah, that she has them. I guarantee you he'd want someone else to do it. Maybe even pay someone to leak them. Like, Robert. The rumors about the clothing. I have never heard about Abby being dressed in Libby's clothes, any version of that, until December of 2022. I did not know that. He got them in 2023. What month, all eyes on Delphi? What month in 2023 did he get them? Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Not the not all the formations of the sticks, but I mean, it was rumored for many years too that there was a ritualistic aspect to the crime scene, and that there was something to do with sticks. I'd always heard that something was carved into the tree and carved onto one of the bodies. Those were the two big rumors, and then it came out, obviously, that what was on the tree was not carved; it was blood. Snay did a live stream on 8/1/2023 with clearly sent Todd the body pics of the crime scene by then. Defense leak didn't happen until October 8/1/20. Okay, so this is his second. How many times did Chris Todd go on to Snay's channel? I thought it was 2.
And we are.
This is the one from 4 months ago, August 1st. But I think there's one more, is there not? Of this one, I don't have the sound on, so if you guys can't hear it, it's not on. I don't have it on.
Interesting.
Let me get-
Interesting. Yep.
It's not.
The
Okay.
date of this one,
You know, there's so
It's-
much there that was.
December 3rd. AGS, I'm like, AGS, where are you? Remember when we were talking about that? I want to say it was Ashley Banfield, and she had Murder Sheet on, and they were talking about the crime scene photos, and whoever the newscaster was said that she had the photos and that she wasn't going to be showing them either. Do you remember that? When he talks about having them in 2023, he says wrongly that the girls are parallel like this. Oh, in August. Someone definitely had them in August. We got them around the end of July, went live August 1st. That's the next one. Letter K was originally on the tree. I remember a K. I can't remember. Yeah, she said we're not going to show him. He corrects the record. Okay, we're going to have to... I'll have to just pull some chunks out of this, and we'll just have to pull them up and go through them. And timeline-wise, you know, I like everything in a timeline. So I swear he was on here. So December 3rd is interesting because it is the same date of the Court TV appearance. So this one's December 3rd. This is the one with Jason Jensen. But I swear there might be another one. Yeah, since you can't send clips, Luthi, I just have to do it myself and get the timestamps. I just, I appreciate you so very much. And then, okay, so then the next one, the other one that we're talking about that is just Snay and Chris Todd is only from 4 months ago, August. And so there's commentary in here where he does imply that he had the photos. This is the one that I believe I've seen. The other one I had not watched. I'm almost positive this is the one I'd seen. So, but we're already at 3 hours. I gotta go make dinner for the family. So we'll wrap this one up and we'll pull these for tomorrow. Oh shoot, I can't do tomorrow afternoon. I have an appointment at 4. I wonder if I can do during the day. You guys want to do one during the day? Maybe we'll just do one during the day and we'll go through this. Is there one of him on Court TV? Yeah, I have the one of him on Court TV. So that's why I said we can just we'll put it all together. Yeah, okay, we'll do one during the day. Sleuthy, you want to come with me? You want to come up with me? Are you busy? You working? Sleuthy should be a mod, right? We'll fix it. I'll make her a mod. During the day is middle of the night for me. I can't do tomorrow afternoon at my normal time. I have an appointment at 4. So I'll have to do, hold on, I'm gonna have to pull up YouTube to do that. To get whatever you're sending me. Three minutes, 33 seconds. Oh, here it is. Okay, yeah, we'll finish on this
I
one.
actually had a conversation with two people, Anya Kane and Kevin Greenlee.
My memory ain't so bad.
Team. They co-host a podcast called The Murder Sheet, and they are in this case super deep.
Okay, let's fast forward a little bit.
That was where we sort of pieced together what had happened.
And why I pieced together that I figured today happened because of that. I mean, with that direct sort of chain link all the way back to the defense attorney, it made me wonder, well, what's this defense attorney going to say in court about that? So, Kevin, I know all responsible news organizations have to really measure the journalism versus the impact on a process. And clearly you both have decided that the murder sheet wasn't going to put those photos out there. Kudos to you. We're not going to either. And I don't know how far, Kevin, you're prepared to go to describe what it was you saw.
What is she talking about? We're not going to either. What does that mean? She has them? Because that's what that sounds like. Somebody gave them to Bagefield. Yeah, this is Murder Sheet, Kevin and Anya. And we're not going to either. Yeah, she says like we're not going to. You're killing me. You're killing me, Smalls. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so somebody sent him to Ashley Banfield because she's not going to show him either. It's like, who gave it to whom? Now everybody's contracted it. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up. I thank you guys for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I know it's kind of started off a little rocky. Everybody was getting a little angry with each other. I think that it kind of calmed itself down. And any of you guys who were here earlier who are now just listening, I still appreciate you guys being here. Even if you're not commenting, I get like this is one of those cases, and I do my very darndest. I want everybody to try to get along and to be kind, but I know like these differing opinions cause a lot of like animosity, and there's history there between a lot of people. But I really do appreciate each and every one of you guys for being here. I appreciate you guys for listening, contributing, for helping me when I make mistakes and telling me that I'm saying the wrong person's name. So I know you guys have 1,000 other places you can be, and you guys could be watching, and yet you choose to spend your time with me. And I want you to know that I really appreciate that very much. And this is the presentation for anybody who wants it. It is public. It is not finished. That is my disclaimer on it. Go enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. I will be back during the day tomorrow. We'll do it, and we'll go through everything Chris Todd had to say. And maybe I'll just send Chris Todd an email, see if he wants to come and answer the questions himself. Gotta be nice, though. All right. Have a good one.